come and help me put the silver away?
I say, we must settle what we're going to do about the coronation. It's quite soon now. Your grandmother's got 2 seats at a window in her club, hasn't she?
I'm supposed to be going with her.
Oh, if only your father could go with Lady Bourne instead of you, and then you could come with us.
Oh, yes. I'll ask Granny tomorrow.
Ask Granny what, Vicky?
Oh, Granny.
Lady Bourne.
What are you doing here, Granny?
Well, your father's walking the rector home, so I thought I'd come and help you darlings.
That's sweet of you.
It's all done, Granny. Look, the very last fork.
Your mother and father bought that canteen with a wedding cheque from Lord Jellicoe. I must say I wouldn't have chosen it. I prefer the rat-tail fashion. Still, it was their present. Oh, how well I remember this kitchen in the old days. We had 5 indoor servants then, apart from Nanny and the nursemaid, 2 garden boys and old Dalton down at the lodge. It really is remarkable how Mrs. Gates manages with only the dailies. You girls are very good at helping, too. Of course, in my day, before the war, we did so little.
Really?
Oh, yes. And in my mother's day, it wasn't thought right for a lady even to button her own boots or pick a few flowers in the garden.
Rather like the Rajah's wives in India nowadays.
No, dear, not quite. Well, Vicky, what were you going to ask me?
About the coronation, Granny. I was wondering...
Well, I'm going to London on Monday to buy some clothes for it. That's all I know. No. No.
We have a very lovely Schiaparelli model.
Oh, well, do show it to me. Why didn't you bring it before?
It only came in yesterday. I'd forgotten. Now that really is beautiful.
Very beautiful, but far too big for me. This is a hat for one of those mannequins at a dress show. They're all barely 6 feet tall. Makes me look like a mushroom. Will you take it off, please? I'm afraid to touch it.
I don't quite know what to suggest.
Well, perhaps I shall have to leave it, unless I... Now that's charming. I should like to try that on.
You have already tried it, Lady Bourne.
Oh, no, I assure you I haven't.
Twice, actually. You'd like it delivered as usual and charged to your account?
Yes. Oh, I hope it isn't too expensive.
Well, I'm afraid it is 12 guineas, but after all, it is for a royal occasion.
Yes.
An excellent choice, Lady Bourne. And where will you be on the great day?
Oh, I shall be watching the procession from my club. And the loveliest moment of all is when all the peeresses lift up their arms and put on their coronets. Like a flight of birds, they say.
My grandmother told me the most exciting bit was when the scholars of Westminster School shouted, "Vivat, vivat, vivat."
Oh, yes. My nephew was one of those in 1902. He said it made him feel like part of history.
Cousin George, part of history?
Yes, Arthur.
Well, this will be your 4th coronation, won't it, Granny?
Oh, no, Vicky. I'm not quite old enough to have seen Queen Victoria's.
Oh, of course not. But Edward the 7th, George the 5th, and Edward the... Oh, no, Edward the 8th was never crowned, was he?
No, this is my 3rd. Oh, Arthur, dear, I wish you'd come with me to my club. Vicky tells me she's probably going with Laura now.
Well, what about Liz?
Oh, I expect Liz will go with Peter and the Cartlands, if she can get time off from her hospital.
I wish you'd consider it, Arthur. You could stay with me and help me to cope with that dreadful early start.
What time do they shut the streets?
I'm not sure exactly, dear. It's close to dawn.
I know we're supposed to be in our stand before 8 o'clock.
Oh, you see, one will have to be called at 5 at the latest.
Well, you don't have to go, Mother. You're under no obligation.
I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world.
Bless your heart.
Sorry. It's a yawny sort of night.
Yeah, sultry. Shouldn't be surprised if we have some thunder later on.
Oh.
Still, been a long day. So, what about bed, young ladies, eh?
I think so. What about you, Laura?
Yes.
I shall sleep like a top tonight. Nera! It's coming! Nera! No! 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 Go away! No! No! No!
Wake up, Vicky. It's all right now. Wake up. You've been dreaming.
It's all right, young lady.
Why? I had a bad dream. It must have been the storm.
Yes. Yes, it seems to be over now.
Yes, it's going away. Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy.
Darling, it's not your fault.
It's the 4th time I've had that dream. It's really awful. What's it about? Or would you rather not tell?
Oh, I don't mind now, but it's rather horrid. Well, I'm standing on the top of a high wall, and there's a fierce wind that's trying to push me off. Right above my head is a huge black bird, and it has great wings that flap lower and lower. And all the time, the family are calling to me from the other side of the wall where it's safe, but I can't move because this big bird is suffocating me. Its dusty feathers are in my face and my eyes and my mouth. It's horrible. And then I wake up.
Darling, it's all because you came out when I was shooting rooks one day. Well, she must have been about 10. And then I shot one which first of all lodged in a branch above your head, and then it fell on you. And you were very worried, poor old thing. Don't you remember?
Not really. The dream is very strong.
Ah, that's why you have it. Now then, what about a hot drink? I think if Nanny was here, that's what she'd prescribe.
Good idea. Shall I go down and get one?
Would you, Laura?
Of course. And if you like, I'll bring my mattress in here for the rest of the night.
Oh, I think that would be an excellent idea. Hello. Oh, you're down at last.
Oh, good morning. I'm sorry I'm so late.
It's all right. Let you sleep on after your break at night. Oh, where's Vicky? Still in bed?
Oh, no, I'm just waiting for her to go into breakfast.
Oh. Vicky up there, Mrs. Goethe?
Yes, sir. She's with Lady Bourne. She seems rather upset this morning, sir.
Oh, poor child. Nightmares can be very disturbing.
No, not Miss Vicky, sir. Lady Bourne.
Oh, what about?
Well, I think it's something to do with a letter she's had, sir.
Well, I'll go up and see her. Laura, you better get into breakfast here before it's all congealed.
All right.
Oh, morning, Daddy.
Hello, darling. I say, what's the matter with Granny? Not ill, I hope?
Oh, she's in a terrible state.
Why?
Well, it's all about some letter she's had from her club.
Oh, putting up the subscription, are they?
No, Daddy, this is serious. It's all about the coronation. She won't be able to go after all.
Why on earth not?
Well, I don't really know, but evidently the secretary wrote and told her that there wouldn't be any room for her at any of the windows. Well, I couldn't understand why. Granny is so cross.
Pretty. She's been looking forward to this ever since, ever since we thought it was Edward who was going to be crowned. I'd better go up and talk to her.
Oh, not now, Daddy. She's dressing. She said she had some letters to write.
Yes, I'll bet she has, and I can imagine what's in them.
Burning the paper. All the same, it is a shame. Well, I thought of offering her my place in the stand.
Oh, no, dear. Too tiring, see? Must be indoors.
I wish there was something you could do.
Well, perhaps there is. Let me think. Darling, you better buck up and have your breakfast. Laura's in already.
All right. Well, do think hard, Daddy.
Yes, I will. Did you sleep all right after your bad dream?
Yes, thank you. Laura and I talked for a bit, and then I slept like a...
Top, log or hog?
all three.
Hello? Hello, Arthur. How are you? Good. Well, of course. If there's anything I can do to help, I'd be delighted. What's the problem?
these years. I joined that club in 1910 when Billy was C&C Portsmouth because I wanted somewhere to go when I went to London for the day. I must have been one of their first members, and now this. I asked the secretary about seats as soon as the the date was made. Oh, and that was months ago.
It was Edward VIII then.
It doesn't matter who it was for.
No, of course not.
The point is that they said I could have 2 seats, just as I had for the coronation in 1911 and the Jubilee 2 years ago. And now they've gone back on their word.
No, not according to this letter, Mother.
Excuses.
No, damn it. It says here, they wrote to all members last September because there's been such an unprecedented demand for seats to view the coronation procession that we have reluctantly decided that places will be only allocated to ticket holders only, who will be chosen by ballot, and the draw will take place in January, and all successful members will be informed.
I never got that letter.
Mother, didn't you?
No, Arthur, I did not. That's why I wrote this week asking why the tickets hadn't arrived. Oh, it really is too bad. And I've bought a new hat for it, too.
I wonder who that can be.
Why don't you go and see?
Hello. Is your father in?
I think it's Rosie Carton, Mother.
What can she want?
I wonder. Hello,
Hello,
Rosie.
I hope I'm not being a nuisance. Good morning, Alice. Something most awfully boring has happened, and I want your advice. It's about the coronation. Now, you know my father has this office at the Admiralty.
Well, it sounds absolutely splendid.
Yes, well, I was arranging food and drink to sustain us. I mean, we have to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning. Everything was beautifully arranged. And now that tiresome Peter has now told me that he and Liz are going out on the streets somewhere with friends. So here I am, 10 days before the coronation is due, and 2 wasted seats. I mean, it's too late to ask anyone else. All my friends are already fixed up.
How maddening for you.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I suppose they'll just have to go to waste. I mean, one can't ask someone one doesn't know. You're going to be in that room for several hours. I had even thought of asking Mrs. Hedges.
Oh, no, you couldn't. She'd never stop talking.
Right?
And besides, she's running the school children's tea in the village that afternoon.
Well, we can only pray it's going to be a nice day a week on Wednesday. Do you remember what a beautiful day it was for the Jubilee 2 years ago?
Yes, yes.
What a
indeed.
pity you're all fixed up. I mean, Father's office is such a perfect sight, and Geoffrey's arranging for cars to pick everyone up at dawn.
Well, as a matter of fact, we're not fixed up at all.
Oh, I thought you were.
So did we, but you see, there's been a sort of a muddle over Mother's seats.
Oh, but that's marvellous. You must come with us, Alice. You and Arthur.
Well, are you sure it wouldn't be an imposition?
An imposition? You would be doing me a favour.
Well, in that case, thank you, I accept.
Good.
Well, why don't you 2 girls go and have a game of tennis? I mean, the rain seems to be holding off.
All right. Come and watch us, Granny.
Why not?
Now, if you don't mind waiting just for a moment, I'll get that letter for Geoffrey. Well done, Rose. It's absolutely convincing performance.
I rather enjoyed it. But was it absolutely necessary?
Oh, yes, of course. Good heavens, if I'd suggested asking Mother, she'd never have agreed. Now she's convinced she's doing you a favour.
Oh, as long as she's happy.
Oh, she's delighted.
Well, and so am I.
Bit hard on Peter and Liz.
Oh, not really. I think Peter's quite relieved. He was only coming to the Admiralty out of politeness to my father. They'll be much happier in their own company.
Oh, well, then so everybody's happy.
Absolutely.
Oh, Geoffrey's letter. Now, do let me have it back sometime. Of course, there's no hurry.
Bother.
Oh, how do you do? My name is Klaus von Heinig.
Oh, yes, of course. I've heard Vicky talk about you. Do come in.
Oh, I would not wish to intrude.
She would be furious if she missed you. She and Commander Bourne have gone to Hornbury, but they'll be back soon.
Oh, please, where shall I put this?
Oh, leave it there.
Thank you. I hope the commander will not think me too impolite to arrive without,
Warning?
warning, yes. I telephoned at about 3 o'clock, but there was no answer.
Mrs. Gates must have been in the lodge, and I'd gone down to the village shop.
Forgive me. I do not know your name.
Oh, silly of me. I'm Laura Collins.
You are a relative?
No, a friend of Vicky's. We met last summer when we were both doing the season, and then I came to stay here. I had to keep Vicky company after...
Ah, yes. The tragedy. It was so sad.
Yes.
Did you know Anne?
No, I never met her.
Oh. Anne came to us in Munich the year before Vicky. She was a girl who loved life, not very serious perhaps, but lebensfreudenvoll.
What does that mean?
Full of the joy of life.
Oh, yes, that's what Vicky told me. I expect you knew Mrs. Bourne, too.
Oh, yes, of course. It was so sad.
Awful. But they're beginning to get over it, so I shouldn't mention it if I were you.
No, I won't say a word.
They won't be long. Would you like some tea or coffee? A cup of coffee?
Yes, indeed I would.
I'll go and get some for you.
Thank you.
I shan't be a minute.
Ah, Vicky's beautiful piano. It has a very sweet tone, as I remember. Do you mind if I play?
Of course, do.
Thank you.
Miss Laura, why, you shouldn't be getting the tea.
I'm not. Just a cup of coffee for someone who turned up unexpectedly.
Oh?
Well, Vicky's friend from Germany.
Oh, was it that Mr. von Heineck?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I wonder if he'll be staying the night.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'd better get his room ready, Fears. Hey, it's just as well Nanny's away.
Why?
Bring the tea as soon as it's ready, miss.
Yes. And now I am in England with two friends. We are walking in the West and in the Midlands, seeing your beauty places.
Ah, I see, sort of Wander Virgo, eh? Were you on holiday from Germany?
Well, as you know, I've been working with the Deutsche Reichsbank, and I have now been transferred to London for 2 years.
Oh, splendid. I hope we see something of you.
Yes, I also hope, but please forgive me for arriving today without warning. I realized how close I was to here, and so I have called to pay my respects. Is that the correct expression?
Absolutely.
And to apologize to you, Vicky, for not having answered your last letter.
Oh, that's all right.
My life has been very full, you know. In the week in the bank and at the weekends, I have been flying a great deal.
Oh, is this with a club?
Oh, no, I am a reservist pilot with the German Air Force.
Ah, Laura. This is Klaus von Heineck. Laura Collins.
We've met already. Here's your copy, Klaus. I do hope it's strong enough for you.
Thank you.
Is there any chance of some tea for us, Laura?
Well, Mrs. Gates is getting it now.
Ah, good. Well, now that you're here, Klaus, you'd better stay the night.
Oh, thank you, sir. I would appreciate this very much.
Oh, you and Vicky can play some of those splendid duets she keeps telling me about.
Yes, indeed.
Brought the tea, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Gates.
Oh, thank you, Miss Vicky. Well, thank you, sir.
When do you start work at your bank, Klaus?
On Monday. I have to go back to London tomorrow evening. I'm staying with friends in South Kensington.
Oh, thank you.
You, Vicky, you still at the Music Academy?
Yes, I am.
You like it?
Yes, I do. But I'm dreading the end-of-term exams. Well, lots of people there are so much better than I am.
She's pretty lazy about practicing in the halls, aren't you, Vicky?
Oh, you should have more Durchfähigkeit.
What does that mean?
I think I know that word.
Necke mich nicht, Klaus.
Aber ein solches Talent solltest du nicht verschwanden.
Well, there we are. Quite right here, Laura.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't speak German.
Well, how long have you been on this walking tour? Oh, I believe they call it hiking nowadays.
Since 2 weeks. We have seen many beauty spots.
Oh, where'd you start off from?
From London, we took the train to Bristol.
Bristol. And why Bristol?
Well, it is a most historic place, is it not? And Brunel's suspension bridge over Clifton is very fine.
Oh, yes, it's lovely at Clifton.
North to Gloucester and Cheltenham, west to Ross-on-Wye, north again to the Gilwyn Gorge, and I find myself here.
And where'd you stay?
Oh, it has been too wet for camping. We have been staying in village inns. But it has been a most enjoyable holiday. Today is the most enjoyable of all. It's good to see you again.
Yes, it's a lovely surprise.
And if Klaus plays tennis, we could have a mixed double when Peter gets here.
Peter?
Or Peter Cartland. He's engaged to Liz.
Liz is to be married?
Yes, son of one of my neighbours.
This is good news. And Mr. Cartland is a good player.
Oh, yes, he's rather good. He's got a smashing service. How should we play, Vicky?
Well, Klaus and me against you and Peter. Well, Laura's so much better than I am, and you're in quite a different class, aren't you, Klaus? Well, he's played championship tennis with Von Cram.
Golly.
Well, I hope you won't mind family tennis.
No, I should much enjoy it. The exercise is good. If you will excuse me while I change and wash.
Yes, yes, of course. You remember the way?
Come on up, Klaus.
Can I pour you another cup of tea, Commander Bourne?
No, no, thank you, Laura. Oh, I think perhaps I should tell you, Vicky and Klaus, they've known each other for some time.
Well, yes, I know. She's often talked about him.
I just thought I'd explain.
Yes. I think I'll go and change for tennis. Peter will be here very soon.
Right. Yes, the rain seems to be holding off. Should be a fine evening.
May I clear the tea things, Royce?
Yes, yes, of course. Do, Mrs. Gate.
Yep. Will Mr. Peter be staying for dinner, sir?
Probably. And Mr. von Heinig is staying the night. Well, you better give him the blue dressing room.
Yes, sir. Very good. Why, Mr. Peter, good afternoon, sir.
Where is everyone?
Well, the young ladies are upstairs changing for tennis, and the commander's in his study.
I see.
Oh, hello, Peter. Thought I heard your voice.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, what's the matter? Not your usual cheerful self today?
No, I don't feel it.
A bit fed up because Liz is not here, eh?
It's not just that. It's... Did you ever meet a very good friend of mine, Julian Lloyd? He stayed at Layford quite a few times.
Oh, yes, yes, nice chap. Used to work on a newspaper, didn't he?
Well, he did. He's gone missing. He's probably dead. He went to Spain as correspondent for Reuters. I heard this morning that he was in the Basque country. Guernica.
When it was raided?
Raided? My God, Guernica wasn't raided. It was flattened, wiped off the face of the earth. Small, undefended town, busy minding its own business. Not a military objective within miles. Completely destroyed by German bombers. Half the population wiped out by men, women, and children.
I know. It was horrible. I'm sorry, Peter. Your friend. Perhaps he'll be all right.
Well, even if he is all right, he's not all right for the thousands of Spaniards who died. Those bloody Huns and their terror bombing. Slaughtering of innocent people, women and children.
Hello, Peter. What's all this about women and children? Oh, Peter, this is my friend Klaus from Munich.
Peter Cartland, how'd you do?
How'd you do? Klaus von Heinig. I'm one of your bloody Huns.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hello, Arthur. I hope I'm not late.
No, not a bit, dear. No, we shan't be having dinner for at least an hour. Would you like some lemonade?
No, thank you.
How are the Manninghams?
Oh, well, she's got a bit old, poor dear, but she's just as amusing as ever. He's a bore. But he always has been, and always will be. You can't expect him to change at his age.
No, I suppose not.
Where are the young ones?
Well, having a very energetic game of tennis. Come and have a look.
Who's the good-looking boy in shorts?
That is Klaus von Heinig. Another family the girls knew in Munich. He turned up unexpectedly.
Isn't he the one Vicky thinks she's in love with?
Yes, that's the one.
Were you expecting him?
No. No, he came in out of the blue on Laura, you know, while Vicky and I were driving you over to the Manninghams. Peter is here to dinner, and we had to ask him to stay the night. I hope Peter minds his P's and Q's.
Why shouldn't he?
Well, he's not very keen on the Germans at the moment, because of what they're doing in Spain.
He should join the Bund, with the Londonderers and all the rest of them.
But the Bund, what?
Yes, it's a society for getting on better with the Germans.
Yes, dear, yes, I know what it is, the Anglo-German Fellowship. But you wouldn't get Peter within miles of anything like that.
You'd be surprised what a lot of important people in London are joining.
No, I'm not at all surprised. A lot of people fear Stalin far more than they do Hitler. They genuinely believe that friendship with Germany is the only way to avoid another war. Well, tennis seems to be over. Excuse me. Who won?
Who do you think? Vicky and Klaus, of course.
I don't think Peter enjoyed it. Well, he and Klaus barely spoke.
I'm not surprised, especially after what we heard Peter saying before we started playing.
Yes, that's a bit embarrassed.
Well, he was angry and upset about some bombing in Spain. I couldn't understand.
You ought to read the newspapers more.
Well, do you?
I do at home. I have to read them aloud to Grandmama when she's resting.
Well, talking of resting, I think I'll go up now. Tea with the Manninghams was rather exhausting.
I'm coming up too, Granny. I must have a bath. I'm sweating like a pig.
Vicky.
Well, perspiring like a pig, then, if you prefer it.
I don't prefer it. I think it'd be better if you didn't mention the subject at all.
Sorry, Granny. You coming up, Laura?
In a minute. Can I have some more lemonade?
Yes, of course.
May I say something, Commander Bourne?
So,
I'm a bit worried about Peter and Klaus. There was a terrible atmosphere between them on the court.
Yes, it would upset Vicky terribly if they had a row.
If only Peter wasn't staying for dinner.
I agree. I wonder if there's some way I could arrange for him not to be here. Oh, hello, Klaus. I hear you and Victoria were victorious. Bad luck, Peter. I'm sure you played very well. Look, I have a couple of calls to make. Laura, would you give him a drink?
Yes. Lemonade or beer or something stronger?
For me, beer, please.
I'm sorry.
Would you pour it yourself? Yes. I always make it so frothy. Peter?
Oh, I have a little lemonade, thank you. All right. Hello, Geoffrey Cartland speaking.
It's Arthur Bourne here.
Oh, hello, Arthur. Nice to hear from you. Just got back half an hour ago. What can I do for you?
Oh, Geoffrey, I wonder, could you do me a favour?
Yes, within reason.
Well, would it be all right if Peter came home for dinner tonight instead of staying here?
Yes, of course. There's no trouble, is there? I mean, Peter, Liz?
Oh, no, it's nothing like that. In fact, Liz isn't even here. No, something rather awkward has happened. A chap, a young friend of the girls, has turned up unexpectedly. A fellow Anne and Vicky used to know in Munich.
Oh, a German, eh?
Yeah.
Yes, I get your problem. I think I know how Peter feels about the Bosch at the moment.
Yes, well, rightly or wrong, you know. Peter said some rather offensive things about the Germans, and unfortunately, Klaus overheard him.
There's no trouble, really, Arthur. I'll simply tell Peter that I'd like to have him here. I'm entertaining a new director, dining him, and we'll be talking anyway about pool aviation. Might be a very good idea if he was here.
Well, that's very kind of you, Geoffrey. See, I'd hate for there to be any unpleasantness, you know, which, well, it might upset Vicky.
Glad to be of help.
How do you like our English beer? Oh, it is heavier than our Löwenbräu, but it has a, how should I say, an acquired taste. And once it is acquired, it is very hard to lose.
Personally, I find your beer pretty good stuff. I drink quite a lot of it in the mess. What do you think, Laura?
Oh, I'm sorry to say I loathe all beer.
You speak of your mess, you are a soldier?
No, I'm in business. but I'm with the auxiliary Air Force as well.
Really? Well, I too am a reservist pilot with our Luftwaffe. I completed my pilot's training just before coming to London.
You ought to take Klaus over to Hendon with you, Peter.
Yes, well,
Excuse me, Laura, if I take a bath.
Yes, of course. You know which bathroom to use.
Yes, Vicky has shown me. I'm afraid I will not be able to change for dinner as I do not carry a dinner jacket in my rucksack. But at least I will be clean.
I don't expect any of us will change this evening.
So until later.
Would you like some more lemonade, Peter?
oh, thank you, Laura.
You're in a funny mood, aren't you, Peter?
Am I?
Is it because we lost?
You know it isn't.
It's Klaus, then, isn't it?
I'm afraid I find it rather difficult to be polite to a German just at the moment.
Oh, but it's so idiotic. You both have so much in common.
Klaus and I? What do you mean?
You both fly aeroplanes. You both love tennis, play music. You're both extremely patriotic. The only difference is that you're English and he's German.
German and a Nazi.
Peter, I just had to ring your father. Apparently he mentioned he'd like you to come home for dinner after all. One of his new directors has turned up unexpectedly. He'd like you to be there to meet him.
Yes, I see. If that's all right with you, sir.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, you could come over tomorrow.
I think I'll go up and change too. Bye, Peter.
Bye-bye, Laura.
Well, let me give you a proper drink before you go.
Oh, no, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That German fellow plays a good game of tennis.
Yeah.
Funny he turning up just like that. Wonder what he's doing here. How long he'll be staying.
Oh, he's here for a couple of years, I think. He's going to work for the Deutsche Reichsbank in the city. Well, he's still on holiday at the moment. He'd been on a walking tour with a couple of friends, found himself in the area and dropped in.
Well, if I'm to be back before dinner, I ought to be going. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye. Well done, you two.
Don't stop.
That was lovely.
They played beautifully together, sir, don't they?
They play splendidly, Mrs. Gates.
Treat to listen to them, sir.
I could listen to them all day.
Oh, and this one. Do you remember you were teaching me to ski? And I came an awful cropper, and your father snapped me just as I fell.
Yes, I remember that day. Look at your skis all twisted.
Do let me see.
Oh, Vicky.
Were those your parents, Klaus?
Yes.
Wasn't your mother handsome and your father?
Yes, indeed. Look, do you remember that when you were...
Well, rain or no rain, I'm going to go for my Sunday afternoon walk.
Oh, take the dogs with you, will you, Laura? They haven't been out since this morning.
Of course. I'll be back in time to see you off, Klaus. Your train goes in about an hour, doesn't it?
About 40 minutes.
I don't envy you. Sunday trains in England are brutes.
Oh, how can trains be brutes?
Brutal to passengers. Very few and very, very slow.
Laura is very charming.
Not too charming.
Oh, liebe Vicky. Now that we are both to be in London, I shall take you to some concerts and we will go out to dinner.
Well, that would be lovely.
I will telephone to your aunt's apartment to arrange this. Give me the number.
It's Langham.
Langham.
Langham 2315.
Oh, yes.
And you must come and stay another weekend when Liz is here. I'm sure she'd love to see you again.
Vicky! We'll catch that train. Klaus must leave in 5 minutes.
We're coming, Daddy. Is your rucksack packed?
Already. Vicky, may I really come and see you again?
Oh, absolutely. Well, perhaps you can come the weekend after the coronation, and we can compare notes then.
Yes, that would be good. But in the meantime, we will meet in London.
Oh, yes, please. Why do you wear your badge sewn inside your jacket?
Oh, I was warned. Diplomacy, tact, you understand? In England, this emblem is not liked by many people, not only Jews and communists, but other people who do not know the political intentions of my Führer. It is the fault of the BBC and the newspapers here. But I must explain these things to you, Vicky, in London. There are many things that must be explained to you. Come here, Vicky. Smile for me. Come or I will pull your long, so unfashionable hair.
Oh, Klaus.
Come along!
Well done.
Oh, not too much, not too much, not too much. Thank you.
I hear you're going away soon, Ladybug.
Yes, I'm going on a cruise next week with a great friend.
That'll be delightful.
Why, I do hope so. I'm looking forward to it like anything. Oh, I wonder where that policeman's trotting off to on his beautiful horse.
I think he's making a beeline for Scotland Yard to make himself more comfortable.
Oh, Geoffrey!
I'm sorry, but I am going to follow his example.
Right.
Such a lovely lunch.
Yes.
Champagne, too.
Yes, this perfect view.
So kind of you, Sir Michael.
Good Lord, I only provided the room. Geoffrey ordered the drink and Rosie arranged the buffet.
And very beautifully you've done it,
Oh,
my dear.
thank you, Alice.
Oh, look, there's that little white dog running down the middle of the road again.
I listen to the crowd laughing.
I suppose it gives the poor devil something to look at. Most of them have been on the pavement since last night.
Oh, poor little doggy, he's frightened out of his wits.
And there, someone's caught it
Oh, thank heavens.
and given it to a policeman. He'll take it to the station until it's claimed.
Yes.
Arthur, you don't think anything's gone wrong between Peter and Liz, dear?
No, I don't think so. Well, why do you ask?
Well, not coming home last weekend. Well, you know, we thought she'd been held up at the hospital again, but Vicky tells me that she did have time off. But she went to Wales.
Did she?
Yes, well, Peter tried to ring her at once, but couldn't get hold of her. He was very upset.
Oh, poor chap, I'm not at all surprised.
Yes, well, I hope they resolved something between them this morning.
Now, what are you two whispering out, planning to overthrow the monarchy?
Oh, no, family matters, darling.
I am the family, you
Yes.
know.
She's snatching 40 weeks.
I don't blame her. I wouldn't mind a nap myself up at the lock.
I'm afraid the rain's not going to hold off much longer. A nasty cloud.
Oh, it mustn't rain. Peter and Liz will get soaked.
So will the people in open carriages.
That's a bit of a day for a picnic, is it?
I don't think your lord take an umbrella.
Much against their will.
Their stand isn't covered.
Where are they sighted?
Top of the Mall, back house, near the Lumsden.
Listen, I think I hear them coming.
Yes, I can hear a band.
You better join us, Granger. The procession's coming.
Yes, on their way back from the Abbey.
Oh, isn't it marvellous?
Come on, Rosie, grab yourself a place.
Alice, dear, they're coming. Oh, yes, of course. Exciting.
Splendid.
Mass band for the Brigade of Guards. First Marine band comes later. They will show them what marching is, Arthur.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can see the lifeguards.
Yes, there's a sovereign's escort and household cabaret.
And the king and queen with their crowns and sceptres. Oh, it's like a fairy tale.
There it is. There's the golden coach.
God bless them. Hurrah!
Darling.
I'm sorry I carried away.
Oh, no. He's a lump to your throat, doesn't he?
Look how tall and straight the Princess Elizabeth said she can't be more than 10.
Her time may come one day.
Hello, Mrs. Gates.
Afternoon, Mrs. Gates.
Afternoon. Well, what a day you've brought with you.
Like every day now.
I know. It said on the wireless that this has been the wettest May for years so far.
Did it rain here on Coronation Day?
Well, on and off, miss. But it kept off for the children's procession, fortunately. And anyway, Mrs. Hedges had all the tables laid out for tea in the village hall, so that was all right.
How did it go off?
Oh, not too bad, miss. Well, Gates and I didn't stay very long. To tell you the truth, we'd been listening to the coronation on the wireless from beginning to end, and we got well behind with our work, I can tell you.
Good for you. Wasn't it exciting?
Oh, it was wonderful. We thought about you, you know. I hope you didn't get wet.
Oh, we did a bit. It was worth it every time.
Every time. We bought Gates and you a souvenir programme.
Oh, Miss Vicky, that's beautiful. Oh, thank you very much indeed, Miss. It's lovely. We shall treasure this all our lives.
Don't be late for lunch. Is Laura taking the dogs for a walk?
Oh, again? She's a tactful girl.
She doesn't want to be a gooseberry. Oh, I love this bit.
Yes, it's beautiful. Vicky, I should like to spend the rest of my life listening to music with you.
Would you, Klaus?
I've come to realize that I love you very seriously.
Klaus.
Remember what we talked about on Thursday?
Am I likely to forget?
I'm writing to my parents, telling them that I wish to be engaged to you.
Darling.
Of course, I should have to speak to your father first.
Well, I know he likes you, and he has lots of friends in Germany.
After all, if we got married in the autumn, I would have another year and a half at the Reichsbank.
When exactly do you go back to Munich for good?
Not until 1939.
Oh, that's ages away.
Sorry to butt in, sir. I just wondered if Liz had turned up.
Oh, no, I'm afraid not, Peter. Do come in. Rang up for Ross on wire last night. Afraid she had a bit of trouble with the car.
That Vauxhall was a rotten buy. I offered her a brand new Cartland 10, but she refused it.
She's a very independent young lady, our Elizabeth. You'll have to be prepared for that when you're married, eh?
Yes.
Well, you stay for lunch, of course. You might have a return match on the tennis court for young von Heinig leaves.
He's here?
Yes, indeed.
Again?
Yes, again, Peter. Oh, Vicky asked him to come down.
If you ask me, he's using Vicky.
What?
Using Vicky and all of you. He shouldn't be allowed inside this house, in my opinion.
Well, now, look here, Peter. I know you're very soon to be my son-in-law, but I must remind you that I choose my own guests. Now, I happen to like the von Heinigs, and I see no reason to upset Vicky by refusing to invite Klaus here simply because he's a German.
I'm sorry, sir. I just don't trust him. We had a lecture about security in the squadron last week. Chap from MI5. He told us there were hordes of Germans travelling around the country, canoeing up the Thames, hiking around the countryside, making notes and sketches of factory sites, docks and aerodromes. In fact, they're spies.
Oh, Peter, is it right?
And in my opinion, Klaus von Heinig is one of them.
Now, come on, Peter.
Now, look, he said he'd been to Bristol, didn't he? And to Gloucester. It's all docks and factories. If you don't mind me saying so, sir, intelligence has changed since the war.
Has it? I'm sure you know much more about it than I do. Excuse me. Hello? Oh, Liz. Oh, don't tell me, dear. That old rattle trap of yours has broken down again.
Oh, tell her I'll fetch her.
Hold on for a minute, dear. She's at Ross on wire. No, Peter's here. He'll come down and fetch you. You're not coming back, dear? Well, why not?
Can I have a word?
Hold on for a minute. No, Peter, I'm sorry you can't. She's rung off.
This is the second weekend she hasn't turned up.
Well, the car's all right. She just went off down to her friend's farm for some reason.
What is she up to?
Well, I'm sorry, old chap. I'll go down there myself tomorrow, find out what it's all about. Girls, they can be very unpredictable, eh?
Yes. Well, I don't think I'll stay for lunch now, sir.
No, of course not. Perfectly understood.
Oh, well, by the way, you didn't find a book I left here last time? History of the RAF?
Yes, I did see it about. Probably in the hall. Oh, if not, it's upstairs. Klaus was looking at it last night.
Klaus was reading that book?
Oh, come on. Peter, be your age. Sex is not on the secret list. You can buy it anywhere.
No, I suppose not. All the same. Well, goodbye, sir.
Vicky, just turn your head a little. No, the other... No, let me... Vicky is posing for a study.
Klaus draws frightfully well, don't you, Klaus?
Yes, I like to make sketches.
Yes, I know you do. And not always people.
What do you mean, Peter?
Asking how many sketches he's done of aerodromes, docks, factories.
I do not understand.
You understand perfectly well. You weren't sent here to work in a bank. Came here to spy. Because your Nazi government has no better policy other than war. War against us, against France, against everybody.
Peter!
What you say is untrue and extremely insulting to me and my country.
It was meant to be. You're abusing the hospitality of the Bourne family, of which I'm soon to become a member. And you're doing it for that crazy corporal who runs your misguided country.
Do not speak so of my chancellor.
Your chancellor is a bloodthirsty maniac.
Do not say that to me.
Hitler's a pig.
Peter, don't...
You keep out of this, Vicky.
And don't speak to Vicky like that. You shall come outside and we will settle this matter.
Yes, we will settle it.
Will you take your hand off me?
Down those stairs.
Take your hand away.
Go on.
Leave him alone!
You have no right to tell me how to behave. Yes, I have. I won't have Vicky being mauled by a spying, crawling Hun.
A Hun?
And a Nazi. All right, cut it out, cut it out.
No,
Right.
stop it!
Don't tell him.
What have you done, Peter? Klaus, you're right.
You could easily have killed him, Peter. That's no way for an English gentleman to behave, is it?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I apologize.
I too am sorry. I also lost my temper.
I think you two chaps must learn to be a little more civilized. I know we live in very difficult times, but the future lies with you, the younger generation.
Yes. Our Führer has no intention of going to war. He has said this many times.
And you believe him?
Well, naturally. We're both Nordic people. We are not enemies.
Good. I suggest you two chaps go upstairs and have a wash and brush up. Do straighten your ties while you're about it. Try and remember that you're the sons of gentlemen. Then come down. We'll have some lunch. Oh, and afterwards, if you have any further differences about your respective countries, or their politics, or the League of Nations, or even girls, you might care to fight it out on the tennis court. Take each other on in a single, eh? Or if Klaus has too much advantage there, then may I suggest a game of croquet, or a cross-country run? Anything, rather than resorting to a very vulgar brawl in my house. Now, is that clearly understood?
Certainly, Commander.
Right. Well, Vicky, if you tell me when lunch is ready, I'll be in my study.
Mind your dusty hands now. The lettuce will be grubby before they get there.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Oh, well. Wonders will never cease. I know that, Lighty.
Oh, what's that, Ned?
Letter for you.
Oh, thank you.
And a postcard from me, from Liz, from Aberystwyth. Having a glorious time. Jaunty drove me here in our open two-seater. Back next Monday, aye. With a cold, no doubt.
You seem a bit out of sorts now.
Well, it's this weather, do you wonder? If it would just make up its mind, that's
Yes,
all.
I believe it's heaviest rainfall for years.
Well?
I know what you're going to say.
Oh, what's that?
Casting a cloak till maybe out.
No. Near cast a cloot till maybe out. That's what I would say. It just goes to show. Oh, do you know, it's not right. Our poor king's coronation hardly over, and there's a German steamer having the face to push its way into our regatta.
Regatta? Oh, Nanny dear, that's not a regatta. That's the Naval Review at Spithead. And your German steamer, that's the newest German pocket battleship, the Admiral Graf Speer.
Oh, well, can't see it going into my pocket, that's all I can say. Oh, is that a letter, another letter from Miss Gribble?
Yes, she sounds very lonely and friendless.
I'm not surprised.
No.
I don't know that writing anywhere. Like a lame spider crawling over the paper.
Yes, it is rather, isn't it? Oh, what did Miss Phyllis and I used to call her? Oh, yes, never mind.
Oh. You know, I remember when I came back after convalescing and she was governess to the Bournes, poor wee things. Do you know, she had written labels all over my nursery. I didn't need labels to tell me where my things were.
Oh, dear.
Oh, bad news, perhaps?
Oh, I'm not sure. She does sound very gloomy.
Never was what I would term a ray of sunshine.
No, it was very kind of her to write to me when, last summer.
Only right and proper.
Well, apparently she's been ill.
Well, are you going to be in for dinner this evening?
Yes, definitely. Oh, Nan, the house is empty, except for you and the gates, of course. So I promised myself a very special treat, and nothing is going to stop me. Now, that shrubbery near the tennis court is going to be met head on.
Oh, that'll be nice.
So, if you'll tell Gates to come up and discuss tactics with me.
Very well.
And Nan, cheer up.
Oh, I have a feeling in my bones.
Fred, must you spit on them boots?
Proper way.
Oh, is that so? Boot polish is good enough for some.
For those who haven't been in the services. I remember my old CO congratulating me on his boots. Gates, he said, I could use them to shave by.
Hey, you never spat on.
Ask no questions, and you'll be told no lies.
You sound like Nanny.
Oh, no. Who's taking my name in vain?
It's all right, love, you're only being quoted.
Is that so?
And they do say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
The commander wishes to see you, Fred.
Oh, rare to have a go at that shrubbery, I no doubt. Well, though I do say it myself, I shouldn't.
Then don't.
And a prophet is without honour in his own house.
Oh, dear, hark at the man. Will the commander be in for dinner, Nan?
Yes, he will. On his own.
Then I'll poach me haddock for him. Poor lonely man.
You watch what you're doing, Irene. These things have beasties in them.
That's all right, I've not washed it yet.
Oh. Well, Liz will be back on Monday.
What about Miss Laura?
Well, she's gone to a wedding in London, some cousin or other. And then Vicky will be back next Saturday.
Tomorrow?
No. Next Saturday. If I meant tomorrow, I would have said tomorrow, wouldn't I?
Are you sitting in for something?
Certainly not, would ever give you that idea.
Oh. Then I'll give you a bit of my shortcake for your tea. I made it myself.
Shortbread, we call it. I have some, thank you. Sent specially from Scotland.
Of course, how could I forget? Hey, I say, I've got a lovely horoscope.
Oh? What's mine saying?
Oh dear.
What do you mean, oh dear?
You're not going to like it.
Oh, I can believe that. Get on with it, then.
You will need to call on all your reserves of patience this weekend. Any rate, you'll have peace and quiet for it. See ya.
So, with any luck, that shrubbery should be tamed by Sunday evening.
Well, let's hope this rain lets up.
Oh, I expect so. Can't last forever.
The village green's like a duck pond. And what the cricket club will do, I can't think. The old rector is quite beside himself.
Yeah, don't remind me. I expect the Lord's pitch is the same. Yeah, it's north versus south today.
Oh, dear. Well, the South will have a job to score runs, even with Compton and Hammond.
Let's hope the pitch dries out for him before Len Hutton gets going for the north, eh? Difficult man to get out. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Yes, Mrs. Barker. Yes, I'll accept reverse charges. So, would you get me out a good, sharp bill hook?
Very good, sir. I'll see everything sharpened up and ready.
Oh, hello, Liz. Tomorrow morning. Well, Nanny's can't say Monday. Oh. Liz, is there anything wrong? No, dear. It's just that Peter was wondering where you were. Oh, I see. Well, so long as you enjoyed yourself. Oh, darling, incidentally, are you coming back through Gloucester? Well, I just had another letter from Miss Gribble. She sounds very down in the mouth. Well, I quote, "How many times have I thought of the schoolroom, all the happy hours we had together?" Well, perhaps they were happy for her. Well, I thought that perhaps, yes, I hoped you'd say that. Oh, just see that she's all right. Take her a bunch of flowers. There's a good girl. Well, of course I want you back. All right. See you soon, darling. Bye-bye.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Lovely morning it is too for your garden.
Yes, indeed it is. Oh, Mrs. Gates.
Yes, sir.
Did you see the tyres this morning? With Elizabeth's engagement?
Yes, sir. We were admiring it in the kitchen. Oh, it does look nice in the paper, doesn't it? Do you know, Nanny's ordered 4 more copies.
Oh, well, good for her. And Miss Elizabeth is due home this morning in time for lunch.
Very good, sir.
That telephone is going to wear itself out.
I'm afraid it will.
Hello? Yes, Commander Bourne speaking. Oh, thank you so much, Mrs. Hedges. Winifred. Yes, of course, we're all delighted. Well, I'll tell her when she gets back, because she's not due in until this morning. Well, nowhere in particular. Oh, perhaps she could, yes, telephone you. Yes, of course I'll tell her. Well, the date is not fixed yet, Winifred. No, sometime in late June, I expect. Yes. I must go now. Yes. Goodbye. Oh, well done, Gates. All ready?
All ready, sir. I got out both for billocks and that big old wheelbarrow ready for the rubbish.
Splendid.
Yeah, I thought old Harry might give us a hand, sir. We cleared up.
Look at that aeroplane.
My word, he's flying low. Here, stop the end slaying if he's not careful, sir.
Oh, the damn fool. Oh, well, what's he doing now? The pilot's waving.
Did you see that, sir?
Yeah. He threw something out of the plane.
And it's landed over by the tennis court. But what can that be then, sir?
I think I can guess.
Did you hear that aeroplane? I thought we were going to have a quiet weekend.
Road dogs, that's what they are.
Road dogs in the sky?
Well, they've no right to be there, wherever they are. No, they're machines. If we were meant to fly, the Lord would have given us wings.
Oh, look at this.
Huh?
Lad, it's back in the middle of the service corps. That's a damn good aim, isn't it?
Well, what is it?
Well, I have a pretty shrewd idea. Oh, would you go?
Oh, yes.
Considering it's a puss mark. Yes, look at that. Hope you don't mind. I've telephoned the captains for permission to land in Lower Meadow. Can we come to lunch? We being Jack and I love Phyllis.
Oh, whatever next.
Just when it stopped raining.
That'll be 4, sir, for lunch then, will it?
Can you manage?
Oh, yes, I think so. I'll make a pie. That'll accommodate.
Oh, it's not like Phyllis to turn up without telephoning.
Well, but the phone's been busy all morning, that's why.
Oh, yes, Miss Elizabeth's engagements. Everybody ringing up.
In my day, people had the consideration to send a letter, something a girl could cherish later on.
Hope she's sorry.
Oh, sure she would. Probably cut it out and framed it already. Oh, there you go.
Oh, Lord.
Well, shall I fetch the tools then?
Yes, do. Hello? Oh, Rosie. Yes, I did hear Phyllis. They just flew over here just now. Very low. What's that? Oh, yes, the papers. Yeah. Right at the head of the column, too. Oh, that reminds me. Liz is due back this morning, so tell Peter, would you? No, you come over here. Phyllis and Jack are coming. No, my dear, it's all arranged, so we'll celebrate together. Now, hold on. Mrs. Gates.
Yes, sir.
Could you manage another 3?
Oh, yes, don't you worry, sir. A pie's a pie, and a bigger one won't make much difference. Tell you what, seeing as it's a special occasion, I'll open the bottle peaches. Now, how many will that be, sir?
7, I'm afraid.
7? Oh, well, I best get a move on then.
Hello, Rosie. Our sublime Mrs. Gates says she can manage.
That way, I'll tell Fred.
Right, so you come over here and we'll celebrate together. All right, goodbye.
Hello, Daddy. I took a taxi because Gates wasn't at the station. Didn't you expect me?
No, dear.
Well, I did tell Nanny.
But you said next Saturday.
That's right, today.
But today's this... you should have made yourself clearer.
And that makes around 8.
Yes.
Oh, this is quite a gathering of the clans. Liz is coming this morning.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, by the way, I'm on holiday until Thursday.
Oh, that's good.
Well, here we are, sir. All nice and sharp as a serpent's tongue.
Oh, Gates, look, do you mind if we leave the shrubbery until this afternoon?
Now the rain stops, sir, I could make a start.
If you don't mind. You see, I want to have a go.
Very good, sir. I got plenty to do in the greenhouse.
Well, how's the music coming along? Any better?
So. It's jolly difficult. Now I'm doing the theory of harmony. Well, I mean, it's almost like mathematics. You know how rotten I am at mathematics.
This house is getting like a jack-in-the-box.
Vicky, how simply lovely. But what are you doing here? I'm off until Thursday.
Well, you look very well.
And why not? I had a lovely time. Good food, plenty of sleep.
What do you think of your announcement?
Announcement?
Yeah.
Darling, in the Times. Your engagement. Huh?
Yes, of course. It was fine. Can I have a look? Daddy, I've done something absolutely dreadful. I couldn't get through to you on the telephone. You were engaged all the time.
Darling, get on with it. What dreadful thing?
Well, I went to see Miss Gribble, as you suggested. And though she's not my favourite person, as you well know, she looked so down and miserable, I found myself...
Miss Gribble?
Yes.
Am I not interrupting your labours in the garden?
That's all right, Miss Gribble.
Oh, Gates, would you take that upstairs, please?
We're very good, miss.
Miss Gribble, I was just coming out for you.
That'll be 10 for lunch, then.
I may be an old woman, Elizabeth, but I'm quite capable of alighting from a motor car by myself, thank you. Good morning, Commander.
Good morning, Miss Gribble. Well, what a pleasant surprise. Now, how are you?
Well, let's say I suppose things could be worse. Good morning, Victoria.
Hello.
How you've grown.
Yes, I have. I do hope it's all right, Daddy. I've asked Miss Gribble to stay with us for a few days.
Yes, it's quite all right. Well, what a question. We're delighted to see you, of course.
She's been rather under the weather, haven't you? So I thought the change would do her good.
Quite right.
Well, it's my veins, Commander. Still, one mustn't grumble. Keep a merry face on it. But I hope I'm not being an imposition, arriving uninvited, as it were.
No, not at all. Now, let me take your bag.
Thank you.
Would you like to go on?
Thank you. Well, good old Nanny, isn't it?
It is. I knew something was going to happen. Only yesterday I said to the commander...
Now calm yourself, Nanny.
Calm myself. In my day, a governess had her meals in the schoolroom in the proper manner.
Well, it's only this once. After all, she's only just arrived, and you know it is a very special occasion, isn't it?
I'm sure my wee Liz is not herself at all. If she remembered about her engagement, then I'm a Chinaman.
Oh, nonsense. She's just full of her holidays, that's all.
Too full. Miss Gribble, indeed. The very name is a hazard.
Then you should be glad to be spared her company. Because you'll have her for every meal in the schoolroom from now on, you know.
Well, at least I'll be able to keep my eye on her there.
Isn't it extraordinary how often so many things seem to be able to happen all at once?
Yes, in what way then?
Well, the expansion of the firm and now the wedding coming up.
Yes.
It seems such a pity missing your finals after all that hard work and dedication.
Well, why do you say that?
It's what I want. I shall be very happy with Peter.
Well, perhaps you will. I must say he's very suitable, a solid sort of boy.
Oh, thank you.
Which is what you want if you're going to settle down. And where will you live, Elizabeth?
In the mill house over on the Layford estate.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Once Peter settled his affairs with his stockbroking firm, he'll come back over here. That's why I had to rush back to Layford just now. But there's so much paperwork to do, so many loose ends.
And hard work never hurt anyone.
More coffee, Miss Gribble?
Well, I really shouldn't, but it's so good. Perhaps just this once. Thank you. And after you're married, I suppose Peter will manage his father's estate.
Oh, no, he's going to run the aerodrome office in Birmingham for Poole Aviation. That's part of my husband's firm.
Started by Phyllis and Mr. Poole.
Oh, I see. Don't you have a London home?
No, I'm afraid not.
Times have changed.
Oh, really? For the better, I always think.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Of course. Miss Gribble, if you don't like the smell of a cigar, I'm sure Jack would finish it in the study. Wouldn't you, Jack?
Yes, of course. Oh, do forgive me, Miss Gribble. It's most inconsiderate of me. Mind if I finish this in your study?
No, not at all. I'll join you. Geoffrey?
In a moment, Doctor.
Do have one, won't you?
Well, I don't as a rule, but, thank you very much. I'm sorry about that woman, Jack. We weren't expecting her.
Don't apologise. I never trusted governesses myself.
No, I don't suppose you did.
Nor they me, for that matter. How long is she staying?
Oh, 2 or 3 days at the most, I hope. Well, I didn't really get a chance to ask.
Rather you than me.
Yes, quite. What time are you taking off this afternoon?
Half an hour. A great deal for Geoffrey to see, especially the hangars. I don't imagine he'd relish a return in the dark, do you?
No, I don't think he would. But neither would I, for that matter.
You know, I was talking to Peter over lunch. He tells me the RAF are opening 19 aerodromes to the public.
19?
That's incredible how they've expanded since 35.
Yeah. Well, good for them. Teach our young men how to fly. Now, I was reading the Times last Christmas. Figures for RAF pilots. Shockingly low. I was amazed.
I wish the rest of the country felt like you. I don't think Geoffrey will ever make a natural pilot, do you?
No, I don't think he would. Rosie was saying he was feeling queasy at the very thought of leaving the ground.
Oh, good Lord, I hope he's not going to be ill in my aeroplane.
I shall certainly try not to do that, sir. I feel it my duty to be flying because, well, I'm now in the flying business.
Bravely spoken.
Yes, I thought so, too.
Have a cigar, Geoffrey.
How long before we take off?
Half an hour.
I'd better not. No, I shall just save a terra firma, my feet squarely on the ground, till that moment comes. By the way, how do you intend to get out of Little Meadow? The place is no bigger than a pocket handkerchief, and it's full of dandelions.
Oh, I think we'll do it all right, as long as we can clear the telegraph wires. Of course, 2 passengers and a headwind, well, it should be all right.
My son Peter informs me it would require a runway from here to Mill House for his aircraft to get off the ground.
Yes, those RAF planes need a little more space. He's probably talking about a Blenheim. My pussmoth could take off from a croquet lawn.
Hope you're going to try that.
Top of brandy, Geoffrey.
Yes, please.
Jack?
Yes, please.
Ought you?
Ought I?
I mean, if you're driving. Sorry, piloting.
I suppose you were seeking sanctuary from Miss Gribble. What was the state of play when you left?
Well, we're still locked in combat. My wife and your sister and your daughter.
Combat?
Yes, it wasn't very ostentatious, but the crosswinds were cutting me up like 1,000 knives.
Well, in that case, a toast, I think. To Rosie.
Thank you very much.
And to Phyllis. And to Liz. Oh, and curry.
Thank you.
I must say, Mrs. Gates makes a very acceptable cup of coffee.
That's good.
Such a pity you cut your hair, Elizabeth. I never think it grows quite the same. Do you?
I haven't given it much thought.
If you'll excuse me, Miss Gribble, I'm just going to go upstairs and see to your room.
Oh, thank you. Dear child. Elizabeth tells me that your Peter is a very hard worker.
Oh, yes, I think he is. Not all the time, mark you.
I think it's a habit that one either develops young or not at all. I expect he was very industrious at school, even as a little boy.
I'm not very sure.
Not sure?
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Gribble, I didn't think you quite understand. Peter's my stepson, the son of my husband's first wife.
Oh, I see. You're a second wife. I didn't know.
Peter's mother died.
Oh, how tragic. I always think it's so sad when a man is left to bring up a small child by himself. I mean, they're so helpless, they need a second wife. Do you have any children, Mrs. Cartland?
No, I'm afraid not.
How strange. Here we are, 3 women. None of us with children, yet all of us involved with them. Isn't that rather a coincidence, Phyllis?
I beg your pardon?
Well, I mean, Mrs. Cartland is bringing up someone else's child, and you and I are teaching other people's children.
I teach adults too, you know, with the piano.
Yes, of course you do. And you may still have children of your own, but don't leave it too long, dear. You know you were always a butterfly. A pretty butterfly, but a butterfly no less.
Cigarette, Miss Gribble?
Oh, thank you, Phyllis. But please feel at liberty to smoke in my presence. I find the smell much more pleasant than a cigar.
Oh, that's a relief. Rosie? Do you know, I think I will.
I thought you might. Well, isn't this cozy? You know, I'd quite forgotten the charm of this house.
One of these days they'll invent instruments that won't rust.
Fred Gates, you are behind the times. All our knives are stainless steel now, you know.
Well, that's different. For the outdoors.
You and your outdoors. You think there was something magic about it.
Aye, there is.
I say, Say, just look at this. 2 guineas for a lady's costume. It's daylight robbery.
Oh. My mum bought one of those gabardine things for, now, let me see. Yeah, 7 and 6pence. Do you know that's what Miss Gribble wore to our school, that gabardine? With those mutton chop sleeves and a stiff white collar. Oh, sharp as this blade it was.
She's too grand for us now.
Aye, but she's worked hard for her position and no mistake. She started at the village school and, well, then she went a governessing with a military family that went out to India and then, if I remember rightly, she got the post teaching Miss Phyllis.
I wouldn't like it myself. No, buffeting between families, neither upstairs nor down. Oh, no, I like to know where I am.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I'll get on with you.
Yeah, she was very good to me, was Miss Gribble.
Oh, she doesn't have the look to be good. Anyway, Nanny hasn't got a good word to say for her.
Yeah, but she was very kind to me. I had this trouble with reading. I couldn't put the words together and she helped me. By God, she did. So whatever Nanny might say, well, I'll always be grateful to Miss Gribble. Always.
Hey, hello, Nanny. I didn't see you there.
No, I expect you did. Well, we live and learn, Fred, eh?
Cup of tea, Nanny.
Oh, I was hoping for that. If I'm not interrupting anything, then.
No, of course not. Well, I better get on.
You mustn't mind, Fred, Nanny.
Oh, no. Nobody could call me touchy, Eileen.
I must say, though, you do look tired.
Oh, could you wonder? I've aged 10 years since that woman arrived. Oh, my, but that's good.
Nothing like a nice cup of tea, is
Oh,
there?
no.
Never mind, Nanny. You can comfort yourself with the thought that you'll only have to put up with Miss Gribble for a day or two longer.
So I should hope.
Well, cheer up, then.
Oh, yes, you're quite right. Why should I let a silly woman like that get me down? Oh, my, what a delicious smell coming from your oven.
I've been making a hot pot.
There you are.
Oh,
Nanny, I can't find any extra blankets for Miss Gribble's bed.
Extra blankets? She's already got 2 and an eiderdown.
I know, but she said she'd like another one until it gets warmer. And then she said that later on, when it's really summer, then she'll only need 2.
Later on? Really? However long is that woman going to be here?
With an active brain like mine, retirement is a kind of death.
Who were you with before you kind of died?
The Parkhurst Smiths.
Oh, that was a Berkshire family, wasn't it? Yes, I knew their housekeeper quite well when I was with Lady Pelham. Oh, that was before they sent for me to come back here when Liz was born. The commander himself insisted.
Such a gentleman, the commander. There are not many like him nowadays, I'm sorry to say. He has that manner, and then he always had as a little boy.
What else would you expect?
Oh, there's some round here, even in these parts, calling themselves gentlemen who wouldn't pass for floor walkers in Pontings. And I think I've known Phyllis almost as long as you have.
I've known them both all their lives, Miss Gribble.
Yes, but it's a governess's special calling to know their minds, to stretch them to fulfillment, just as I try to do with Elizabeth. Such a pity about the engagement.
Well, what's wrong with the engagement, may I ask?
Well, rather a come-down, don't you think, when she was going to be a doctor?
No, I do not. She'll be far happier married and settled down, and after all, that's what counts. Happiness.
Well, I'd call it the second best.
You can call it what you like, Miss Gribble, but that's what she has chosen, and with the full approval of all of us, I might say.
Oh, it's quite easy to understand how you approve. I mean, after all, she's not venturing very far from the nursery, is she? Just across the fields to Layford. In and out for tea, no doubt. So cosy.
Oh, there you are.
It's time we were off.
You want me to come with you?
Oh, no, it'll be very boring, all that business. You stay here and have a peaceful afternoon.
Well, it hasn't been very peaceful up to now.
Miss Gribble.
Oh, don't.
She's not exactly what I call a restful person.
She has got under your skin. Haven't heard that tone since I was a young man.
Where is she? At least your misery is over.
Oh, come on, Jeff. You were quite reconciled in the study.
No, you're not going to shame me.
Oh, while I remember, I left my sunglasses on the seat of the aeroplane. Would you bring them for me when you get back?
Right. Ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Do try and fly smoothly.
I'll do my very best. Cheer up, old sport.
Oh, now, Jeffy looks as though he's going to the guillotine.
Nonsense. Once he's tasted flying, he'll be up there all the time.
I think that's very unlikely.
Don't loop the loop or anything.
Heaven forbid.
Oh, dear. I've never seen poor Geoffrey in such a state.
Oh, he'll get over it.
Now, Rosie, I want to talk to you.
Oh, dear, what have I done?
Nothing, as you very well know. No, it's what we're going to do. Would you mind, Phil? Let's go to the study, shall we?
Escaping.
Escaping?
From our ex-governess.
Oh, no, she and Annie are shut in the schoolroom. I must say, their voices sounded very icy as I passed.
Of the two, I back Nanny.
I'm not so sure.
Oh, yes, in the long run. Now then, Elizabeth Bourne, what was up during lunch?
What do you mean?
For a young girl who is deliriously happy and celebrating her engagement with her fiancé, you gave a most unconvincing performance. Cold feet?
I don't know.
Not surprised Peter fled home to work.
Oh, don't. Ever since I got back from Wales, Peter doesn't seem to be quite real.
And Gwilym does.
Who said anything about Gwilym?
You've been seeing him again, haven't
Well, what
you?
if I have?
It's none of my business, of course. But is it wise?
No.
And that makes it more attractive.
Yes, perhaps. At lunch, Miss Gribble said something I'd never put into words before.
Go on.
She said that Peter was very suitable, a solid sort of boy.
Damning with faint praise.
Well, she's right in a way.
Oh, Liz, darling, Miss Gribble is always right in a way. It's her trouble.
Why I ever asked her here, I must have been mad.
You're mesmerized. You're far too gullible, I've always said so.
No, I'm not.
You wouldn't recognize an emotional blackmailer at 2 feet. Never mind. Now, about Peter.
Well, it's that word suitable. Everybody is always saying he's suitable.
Meaning dull.
I can see our life together, stretching ahead until the grave. Nothing unpredictable and everything rather safe and ordinary.
Isn't that just pre-wedding nerves?
Yes, of course it is. I'm just being silly. I love him.
But not that breathless, sweep you off your feet kind of love. Sometimes I wonder if that love exists. Because if you're talking about dreams and unreality, that's where it is. Not with the Peters of this world. Or the Jack Pools, come to that. When you're off me...
Phil, I'm never off you.
When you're off me, as you are from time to time, so there's no use denying it, I think it's
because in a way we're very much alike. Wanting adventure and the whole world now. And then something happens. You get hurt.
And you want to be safe?
Yes, but someone who'll give you no surprises. The son of your father's next-door neighbour, tucked up in a little cottage with roses round the door.
Phil, please don't. You're as depressing as Miss Gribble.
Thank you, darling.
Come on, another drop, Brandy. Won't hurt you?
No, really, I must keep a clear head.
We're not going up in an aeroplane.
The wedding plans. Isn't that why you hustled me in here?
Oh, yes. Yes, I suppose it was.
Geoffrey and I have decided to give them a new kitchen as a wedding present. Well, I know it's not very glamorous, but 1 week with that old mill range, there'd been a divorce court.
Well, it's very generous of you.
I heard Liz talking about it the other day. Dear practical girl, she was telling Peter that they could buy a refrigerator on that dreadful hire purchase system for 2 and 6 a week. Well, I mean, why should they pay out any extra when we can give them one?
Well, now, I thought I might give them a radiogram. Oh, Liz will miss Vicky's piano playing, and, well, I know Peter's very fond of music. Oh, and Gates is grafting some very special Rambler roses to go over the front door.
You do think she's certain, don't you?
From Liz? Oh, good Lord, yes. Well, you asked me that at the coronation. Is it still worrying you?
Oh, I don't know. It's the way Miss Gribble looked when we were toasting their health at lunch. She looked, how shall I put it, as if she was sorry for her.
Well, dreadful woman.
I see you put the chest of drawers back again. Any objection?
Oh, of course not, Nanny. It's your room.
It certainly is.
I must say I do envy you being able to iron.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Oh, no. I couldn't. Since my veins, my whole life has been painfully restricted. And it'll get worse. Dr. Simpson was quite specific. I shall be bedridden in the end, at the mercy of some wretched servant girl breaking all my poor, few, meagre possessions. Not that I shall be able to afford that, even. When I think of how I've dedicated all my life to other people, well...
But surely you've got a pension.
Not all of us are as fortunate as you, Nanny. I mean, Mrs. Bourne taking you back for the children.
Your coal, Nanny?
Hey? Oh, yes. Thank you, Fred. Would you bang it up a wee bit, please?
Well, Fred, it's a long time since you and I used to struggle with the first learner.
Oh, Peter goes to market.
So it was.
Pictures on one side and words on the other.
Seems like yesterday. You and I sitting side by side at my desk in the school at Witchley.
Aye, it was an uphill struggle.
Yes, but you won through. You got there in the end.
Only thanks to you.
I even remember the day you took your first test.
Oh, and spilt the ink in my excitement.
It's all over your new knickerbockers.
Lord, Mum was cross. She dropped the teapot.
Ah, what's the trouble? I hope it's nothing I've said.
You tell me more about Gwilym.
Well, we've written to each other once or twice. You know, since he came here last summer. He wrote such a nice letter about Mummy and Anne, so... When I was in Brecon with Johnny last week, we drove over to Aberystwyth and had tea together.
Where?
In his rooms at the university. We met a lot of his friends. He's so full of life and ideas. I mean, he takes nothing for granted. He's always questioning and examining everything.
That can be very endearing.
Ah, here's where you went wrong. Ausgefallen. The past participle.
Such luck you knowing German, Miss Gribble.
Well, it's all part of being a governess, dear. It's nice to be needed again.
Well, I do so want to write correctly. You see, Klaus is very proud of being German.
Well, so he should be. They're a fine, industrious nation.
Do you know, you're the first English person who's ever said anything nice about them.
Well, at least they're trying to do something about unemployment.
I do wish you were still our governess, Miss Gribble.
Do you, Victoria? It's nice to be of help when one is old.
Perhaps you could stay with us a bit longer.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be any trouble.
Oh, you're no trouble, Miss Gribble. How could you be? Daddy.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Well, I must say the rector has a most impressive delivery.
Oh, yes, old Morris usually manages to rattle the rafters.
I noticed he was wearing his gardening trousers underneath his cassock.
Shouldn't your mind have been on higher things, Elizabeth? Your forthcoming marriage, perhaps?
I'm observant, that's all.
A good mind lying idle. Does Nanny not attend morning service, Commander?
Yes, usually.
I don't think she's feeling very well today.
Really? I always thought Nanny was as strong as a horse, but still none of us are getting any younger.
But would you care for...
Oh, no, thank you. Now, Victoria, I suggest that you and I go up to the schoolroom and grapple with those German verbs.
Oh, yes, please.
Well, Vicky, aren't you being rather selfish making Miss Gribble work when she's only here on holiday?
Helping Victoria is not work, my dear.
I'll get my books ready.
Such a dear child, Commander. The youngest and the brightest. You must be very proud of her.
Well, I'm proud of both my daughters, Miss Gribble.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
Oh, that'll be Phyllis and Mr. Full again.
Yes, but they're circling the house to say goodbye to us.
I gather they had a very fruitful weekend. Geoffrey was very impressed with the facilities of Birmingham Aerodrome, though not, I hear, with the trip itself.
Phyllis said he was rather ill.
Yes, give me the sea any time.
Oh, Lord save us.
Yes, all them.
That's downright blasphemy. In my young days, we weren't allowed to travel on the Lord's Day.
Oh, like the Jews?
No, the way freeze.
Oh, dear, I can't say anything right this weekend. Well, I've got a headache.
It's just the strain of the engagement and everything.
Oh, is that what it is?
Do you know, I think we ought to ask Miss Gribble to stay on for a few days. She's looking very frail. At least she's helping Vicky with her German.
Daddy, must we?
When I think of it, I was going to have a nice, easy weekend. That woman alone eats enough for a regiment.
Her name is Miss Gribble, Eileen.
I know what her name is, thank you. You get your hands off them.
Poor woman. I bet she don't get enough to eat, though. Thin as a twig, she is.
Nonsense. She's as thin as her heart, that's all.
It's all right for you. You've never gone hungry. But I have. Yeah, and I'll bet you a treat to a turnip that she's having a pretty lean time of it now. She hinted to that effect earlier on.
Hint? All she ever does is hint. Hint she'd like to stay longer. Hint our Miss Elizabeth is throwing herself away. Hint she's starving. And more than hint that Nanny spoilt the children.
It's not like you, Eileen, to be that prejudiced.
Prejudiced? Why, you're so bemused with that woman having taught you to read that she could lead you by the nose with a ring through it at 10 miles an hour.
And if there's one thing that I cannot stand, it's a jealous woman.
Jealous? And what have I got to be jealous of, Fred Gates? Because you're not the answer to the maiden's prayer, you know, far from it. Where you snored last night.
And I don't have to stay here to be abused.
It really would be for the best, you know.
Oh, Daddy, please.
Look, darling, either we have to ask her to stay on for a bit now, or we have to have her again. And of the two, I prefer the former.
Well, why do we have to do either?
Because if your mother was here, that is precisely what she would have done.
Darling Mummy always thought of everyone except herself.
The funny thing, Miss Gribble took me aside in the churchyard this morning. She said something... It was something rather moving. She said your wife was one of the very few people who ever made me feel good.
Well, perhaps we should ask her to stay.
I think so.
What's the matter with you, Eileen? Oh, my God, what are you doing?
Sorry. Oh, Nanny, these last few days, everything's been so topsy-turvy, I don't know whether I'm on my head or my feet.
Oh, but that's no reason why you should be upsetting yourself.
I had words with Fred.
Oh, no.
Yes, you see, he's that struck on that Miss Gribble. You can't make the slightest remark without giving offence.
Oh, him and my wee Vicky.
I know, but we shouldn't have quarrelled,
No.
Fred and me. We just shouldn't have quarrelled about her. But, you know, even when I made a remark about her horn buttons...
And what?
Her horn buttons. You know, well, he flew off the handle and asked me what I was hinting at. Hinting, I said? It's not me that does the hinting. If she's so poor, I said, how come that she can afford real horn buttons? You answer me that. And he couldn't. No, you ask me, Nanny, she's neither so poor nor so sick as she makes out.
You know, you may be right, Eileen.
Do you think so?
And I've a good reason to think that I know where I can find out.
Oh.
Now, will I not make you a wee cup of tea?
No, thanks, love. I'll just work it off on this pudding.
I'll mind the walls for any sake.
I'll give him Miss Gribble.
Mrs. Barkworth, Would it be possible for you to find out for me the telephone number of a family in Berkshire? Oh, you can. That's splendid. Well, the name is Parkhurst Smith.
Miss Gribble, when did you teach at the Winchley Village School?
Let me see. I started in 1897. Do you know, I was just a year older than you.
Gosh, you must have been very frightened.
Frightened? No, not really. Relieved would be a better word. Relieved to get away from town poverty. How little I understood.
How do you mean?
Sometimes I look at the old photographs of the Winchley School, and they appear so sunny and bland. Nothing to show the empty stomachs and the grinding, day-to-day struggle to be alive.
Goodness, I never knew.
Underneath, it was the same as where I grew up, only prettier. Oh, you're too young to understand.
Oh, I think I do, a little bit.
You know, I believe you do. I remember my mother, on and on and on she went, of how I should be grateful, of what I used to wonder. It was my brains that got me out, allowed me to better myself. But you can't get away from your roots. Victoria, I don't know what came over me. I do apologize. Now, back to the German grammar.
Oh, lunch is ready, Miss Vicky.
Oh, then I'll have to run. Will you excuse me?
Yes, of course.
Your lunch, Miss Gribble?
Right.
Nanny will be up directly.
Would you lay the plates? I lay the table. Miss Vicky and I were just talking about the old days in the schoolroom.
Aye, happy days they were. Do you know, I sometimes think they were the happiest days of my life.
Oh, how extraordinary.
How's that?
One history, and each memory makes a different picture of it.
What does that mean?
Oh, nothing, Fred, nothing.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
Yeah. There we are.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, have you got everything, Miss Gribble?
Yes.
For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
Amen.
Now, I believe the commander is going to ask you to stay on for a while.
Oh?
If he does, will you accept?
Well, it would be churlish of me to refuse.
I see. Those people you worked for in Berkshire, Parkhurst Smith, wasn't it?
What about them?
I hear they gave you a pension.
Who told you that?
And that you're not nearly as hard up as you would like people to believe.
What absolute rubbish.
And that indeed they pay your doctor's fees.
And who have you been talking to, may I inquire?
And that as far back as years ago you were telling people that soon you would be bedridden.
Are you accusing me of something, Nanny?
I'm not accusing, Miss Gribble. I'm telling you. Telling you that you and I are the same generation. Two women who have worked for other people's families all their lives. In my case, I consider it to be an honour. And that's why there's no good you trying to pull the wool over my eyes.
As if I would demean myself.
No? Well, let me tell you, I'm just canny enough to know that all that's wrong with you is that you're bored. So bored that you would push your way in anyhow, as you've done here, with your poor me this and your poor me that.
How dare you talk to me like that? How dare you?
Oh, I dare, Miss Gribble. Oh, yes, I dare. Because this was a happy, happy household before you barged in with your interference and mischief.
Are you implying that I'm trying to get back into the household?
Well, I'm not implying it. I'm saying it. And let me tell you, Miss Gribble, you're not welcome here. Not by Miss Elizabeth or Mrs. Gates or me or the commander, if he would just be honest with himself.
And let me tell you, Nellie, that I've no intention of staying where I'm not wanted.
Good. As long as we understand each other. Mustard, Miss Gribble.
Oh, Miss Gribble, must you really go?
Yes, my dear, I must. There's a time to arrive and a time to leave.
But you've only just had breakfast.
Well, what better time to depart than a bright, sunny Monday morning?
I do hope you'll come and see us again.
We'll see.
Or perhaps I could come and visit you in Gloucester. Well, that is, if you don't mind.
Oh, what do you think? Of course, I should be delighted. Any time you like. You know, Victoria, in some ways we're very alike, you and I. We're both outsiders.
Outsiders?
But don't make the mistake that I made. Don't let yourself be too cut off.
I don't understand.
The day you understand will be too late.
Well, the car's ready, Miss Gribble.
Oh, thank you.
Miss Gribble, please try and come to my wedding. I'll send you a card.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yes, I'll get Gates to drive over
Goodbye,
to Gloucester
Commander.
and fetch you.
Take care.
So glad you could come.
Daddy, aren't we hypocrites?
Oh, I don't know. Isn't it a question of, well, good manners?
Oh, Daddy, it's rank hypocrisy, and you know it. I mean, we're all jolly relieved that she's gone.
In a way.
And what does that mean?
Well, I'm not sure. And people like Miss Gribble, they have a way of making you feel uncomfortable.
As if we've let them down.
Oh, hello, Ned. How are you this morning?
Oh, much better, thank you, Commander. Not just quite easy in my conscience, if the truth be told, but still, I can't grumble. Well, you've got a fine day for your gardening.
Oh, that? Yes, yes, I'd forgotten.
Yes, do you good to be out in the fresh air. But if I don't get upstairs and finish that ironing, those gills of ours will have nothing at all to wear.
I'm sure something happened in the schoolroom between Nanny and Miss Gribble.
Yes, yes, I'm sure it did, but never asked, Liz, never.
No. Funny, really. When she was here, I couldn't wait for her to go. Now that she's gone, I feel...
Guilty.
Yes.
Ah, the Miss Gribbles of this world. Somehow they make you feel responsible for their lives. And yet you know perfectly well, however hard you try, you are going to let them down. The tragedy is that they expect you to. I had a commander like that once. And never content with today. He's always looking forward to the next ship's company, the next port of call that was going to turn up trumps.
Aren't we all like that sometimes?
Come on. Let's go and work off our guilt in the shrubbery.
Hello, darling. Oh, I took Smoke for a walk, not knowing what time we might have the pleasure.
Oh, sorry. I'm a bit overdue. The armour kept me talking. I think she must be coming on heat.
The armour?
No, Smoke. I'll have to be careful.
Well, you will.
Daddy gone?
Yes. Did you get next week off?
I did. I promised Sir William I'd read Heathcote on complaints of the kidney and do a paper for him the week after next. Oh, he wished Daddy luck.
I have a long list of instructions for you. Want them now, or have your bath first?
Oh, now I suppose. I can't be fagged to go upstairs. Well, shoot away.
Your papa is already installed in the Crown Hotel, Westcombe.
Already?
Yes, you are. Would like you to join him there Monday morning for a final meeting with the association that evening and stay over there canvassing with him until polling day Thursday.
I see.
Oh, you know, of course, that Duff Cooper's coming up to speak for the Conservative candidate in an hour's time, in fact.
Yes, I did. Daddy told me last weekend.
Oh, he would have loved you on the platform with him for that.
Yes, well, it's just as well I couldn't get away from London in time.
Why?
Well, because visiting ministers always attract hecklers. I can just hear them. Angry cries of warmonger and disarm and what about the unemployed from the socialists? Well, Daddy will get angry and everybody will be embarrassed.
Oh, I doubt that. Ours is a very rural constituency. Besides, they don't have socialists in country villages.
That's a bit naive, isn't it?
It's not naive, an oversimplification, perhaps.
And don't forget there are 2 timber works and a big factory over in Westcombe. It's quite a sizable town.
I know. Oh, I've had a card from Granny.
Oh, how's she enjoying her cruise?
Oh, enormously. I knew she would. She says that when the ship stopped at Aden, all the passengers threw coins over the side for the little Arab boys to dive for, and she thought that quite amusing.
What else?
She says, tell Arthur not to move into my flat until I get back or there'll be a muddle.
Well, that depends on whether or not he gets elected next Thursday.
She's assuming that he will, of course. Oh, and all these are for you.
Gosh, thanks.
Oh, by the way, you've had 1 or 2 more wedding presents.
Oh, have I?
Mm-hmm. Including, darling, the most divine silver salver from the von Heinigs. Nanny took it and put it upstairs with the others till the reception.
What kind of the von Heinigs? I hardly know them.
They might be relations one day.
Oh, yes, of course. Vicky and Klaus. I suppose it's possible. These tradespeople.
All circular?
There's 3 different catering firms all wanting to supply the cake. 2 dress shops asking to quote for my wedding dress. 1 car hire firm. Spacious limousines to and from the church and reception. Reasonable prices. And there's 1 more. All the clothes you will require for the new baby. Tots Togs Limited, Amersham, Bucks.
Do let me see.
Somewhat premature, that one.
So you've finally settled on a date?
Yes, it's June the 30th, a Wednesday in Winchley Church. Old Morris will splice us. A reception in the garden, weather permitting. The same tent as we use for the cricket dance every year. Same food, no doubt, same drink and same people.
Come in.
Anything more to go to the laundry, Nanny?
No, only what was in the basket. Is the man here already?
No, not yet, but I just believe in making sure, you know. Oh, isn't that pretty?
Yes, it will be when I get the tiara stitched on. It's just pinned just now.
Oh, Nanny, isn't that a beautiful piece of jewellery? It's really grand, isn't it?
It's Lady Bournes. It was fetched from the bank last week. The commander brought it here.
That'll really set off her veil.
Yes.
Brussels lace, eh?
Yes, it's nearly 100 years old, that veil. Oh. Mrs. Bourne's grandmother, that's Liz's great-grandmother on the Ashley side. She wore it at her own wedding, imagine.
What are they doing about the dress?
Oh, don't ask me. It's been nothing but chop and change, and nothing's been settled.
They'll have to make up their minds if it's only a month off.
Oh, that's what I say, but she can't seem to make up her mind about anything.
But I thought you told me that Lady Bourne had arranged with Molyneux to make the dress, and she was going to pay for it, you know, before she went away.
That's what I understood. Liz was going to go in and discuss the style, but she hasn't. And of course it's far too late for that now. So let's hope she gets down to something once this blooming election's over and done with. And then the commander can take us shopping in London, or Phyllis, or somebody.
It's to be hoped so.
Otherwise she'll just have to get married in her undies and this veil and tiara that I'm stitching.
Oh, Nanny, dear. Oh, well, I better go and get Freddie's flask and his sandwiches.
Oh, where's he off to?
Football.
Football this time of year?
No. See, Holbury Town's at home to Tewkesbury. It's an end-of-season charity match.
I see. You going?
Oh, no. I've got my ironing to do. And a pie to make for the girls' supper. Young Jim's going with him.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Who's going to fetch them from the 418 train?
Miss Liz said you'd go.
Oh, I see. That's all right then. Who's that?
Good morning, ladies. Good morning. I'm canvassing for the Conservative and Unionist Party in next week's by-election. May I ask for your support for the Conservative candidate, Commander A. Bourne, DSO? Yes?
You can be sure of my vote, Miss Liz.
And they won't all be as polite as that, dear. Some of them must slam the door in your face. Oh, you should see what some of them do in Glasgow.
Well, this is hardly Glasgow, Nanny.
Well, no.
Besides, I shall put my foot in the door and insist on explaining. Just a minute, madam, please. Perhaps I could ask you to read one of our leaflets, which explains Conservative policy on agriculture and what they intend to do for the farmers.
Were you expecting someone? I think I can hear visitors, Miss Liz.
Oh, dear, that'll be the Cartlands. What's the time, Nan?
Oh, 10 to 12.
Oh, they're early. I said 12.
Oh, excuse me.
And they come for lunch?
No, just for drinks to discuss plans.
Wedding plans, I hope?
Yes, Nanny, wedding plans. I'd better go down.
Sherry, Rosie?
Yes, just a small one, thank you.
Do sit down. Peter, would you give your father a glass and take one for yourself? And I'll go and see if I can find Liz. Naughty girl, she knew you were coming. I can't think where she's got to. Liz!
There's no rush. She's probably in the bath.
No, she isn't. I've heard her about the house.
Well, shall I pop up and see if she's in her room?
Well, we are a bit early, darling. They have a punctual Cartlands, always on the dot.
There you are. Come on, Liz.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I canvass your support for the Conservative Party candidate?
No, you may not, young woman. What, do you mean vote for that sailor chap? What's his name?
His name, sir, is Commander Bourne.
You come here expecting me to vote for your lot. Me what's voted Labour all my working life.
Well, perhaps I could ask you to read one of our leaflets.
And what's this? Tory lies, that's what they are, just Tory lies. What about the means test, eh? Arms to Spain, down with Chamberlain.
Steady on, Father.
What's the matter with you, Peter?
I think you ought to pick up those leaflets.
Yes, I will pick up the leaflets. It was most unseemly of me, Liz. I apologise.
Oh, Peter, it's all right. It was only a bit of fun. I didn't mind.
You were only practising, weren't you, darling?
Yes, that's right. I've got to be ready for that kind of reception.
That's the idea.
Well, shall we sit down and have our discussion?
Oh, yes, do let's.
That is, if you want me to be present.
Well, of course we do.
Good. Peter, come and sit down next to me.
Thank you.
Peter, I'm sorry I haven't said good morning to you yet.
Good morning.
Right, shall I start as I've got the list?
The agenda.
The agenda, Father? Must we be so formal? Surely we're just chatting about the wedding arrangements.
All right, Peter. It's the agenda. Fire away, Rosie.
Liz, darling, come and sit down.
Oh, I'm all right. I'd prefer to just float about and listen.
Well, there's just one or two things I think we probably ought to talk about, Liz, darling. For instance, the curtains in the sitting room and in your bedroom over at Mill House.
Yes?
Well, Peter and I measured the windows yesterday, so all we have to do now is buy the material and let Mrs. Hunter get on with it. But I really do think we ought to choose the chintzes. Don't you agree?
Yes, I suppose so.
Mrs. Hunter said it'll take her about 3 to 4 weeks to make up the curtains and those cupboards.
If you want your house to be anything like ready when you come back from your honeymoon, you and I must go to London next week and buy the material. I think Peter Jones...
Rosie, I can't. Not next week. I'm going to be over with Daddy canvassing until Friday morning.
Oh, I see.
What about the following week?
Or why not let Rosie choose the material on her own, and then you won't be held up?
No. Rosie, is there really such a mad rush? I'm sorry, I know I should be doing all sorts of things. But honestly, until this by-election's over, I can't seem to concentrate on anything.
Yes, well, next week will do, but no later.
What is more urgent, Liz, is a question of invitations. We must be sure of your final numbers. Now, you know how the church holds, or rather how few.
Yes, I will, I promise.
Geoffrey wants to get on with arranging the honeymoon, don't you?
Yes, I want my secretary to arrange sleepers to Venice, an overnight stay, perhaps, and then some hotel accommodation there. That is, if you're still set on going there.
Oh, we are, aren't we, darling?
Yes, that's what we agreed.
Good. Well, that can be done next week. Sooner the better.
I've also brought a list over of the presents we received so far from Layford. I think if we could get a combined list together as soon as possible, because I've got to be off soon.
Oh, where are you going?
He's got to be in Birmingham by 2.
To the aerodrome. Our first 3 Rapides were delivered yesterday. I'm going to pop over and see them. Our chief pilot's going to fly one this afternoon.
I see. Well, I've got a list of sorts over here. Perhaps you could read out your list and I'll jot them down on mine.
Is that clock right?
I just gone 4:30. Did you have a nice nap, Nanny?
How did you guess?
You were yawning when you came in. I'm not surprised either after all that stitching.
It is a wee thing tiring, especially on the eyes.
You ought to get glasses, you know.
Me, never.
Anyway, have a nice cup of tea and wake yourself up.
That's fine, thank you. The wee girls ought to be here soon.
Yes, Miss Liz has gone to meet them off the train. She left just after 4.
Oh. What time did the Cartlands leave, then?
Well, Mrs. Cartland left this morning. She went off with Mr. Peter. He dropped her at Layford, you see, on his way to Birmingham. And Mr. Cartland stayed on to lunch with Miss Phyllis and Miss Liz.
Oh, did he?
Well, he said he was going to take them to Mill House this afternoon, but they didn't go. Just stayed in the hall talking, you know.
So, you heard from him?
Yes, he rang me last night from Paris. Says that it's all going swimmingly. He can get us a hangar at Le Bourget as long as we can prove to the French authorities that there'll be enough freight flying in and out to justify it. And, of course, approval from the douane.
Well, we should have our PEDs operating early next month.
Jack's in terrific form, thanks to you. He's busy and happy, and now he has a sense of responsibility, and that's something he's never had before. I only hope he can justify your faith in him.
I know damn well he can.
You've been very good to us, all round as a family. We're awfully grateful.
What else are neighbours for? Actually, I'm very fond of all of you. In fact, you're just the sort of family that I would choose to be connected to. Does that say it all?
Yes, it does. Culminating in a link between the House of Bourne and the House of Cartland. Very apt and appropriate.
It means a sight more to me than just 2 young people getting married. Dynastic, I think that's the word the historians use, isn't it?
Yes, they do.
Nothing must go wrong.
No, it mustn't.
Well, I must leave you, Phyllis. I have a fancy for a horse on the last race at Ludlow. Thank you for luncheon.
Not at all. It's our pleasure.
Ask Jack to give me a ring, will you, as soon as possible after he goes back. I'd like to get him over to the works and hear all about it.
I will. Goodbye, Geoffrey.
Bye-bye, Phil.
Oh, that's all right, miss. Good afternoon. Afternoon, Miss Laura.
Who won the football match?
Oh, I'm afraid they thrashed us, miss, 3-0.
Who did?
Tewkesbury, miss. Our goalie had a tummy ache. Reserve couldn't stop nothing. Jim Tapper reckons he could have done better.
I really came in to say thank you about making that new run for my chicks. It's perfect.
Yeah, well, I put some extra wire up the far end, miss, in case that cheeky black un gets out again.
I know. I found that one in the grass twice lately. Why is there any tea left?
Well, Nanny's got tea for you two up in the schoolroom, Miss Vicky.
Oh, right. Come on then, Laura. Right. Oh, Nanny's got tea for us in the schoolroom. Are you coming up, Liz?
I don't want any tea. You go.
All right.
I think you'll find Nanny's got some shrimp paste sandwiches for you. Now, how's that for luxury?
Gosh, marvellous.
I'm not very hungry, I'm afraid.
Oh, she's nervous about her recital next week, aren't you, Vic? I know I would be. Having to get up on a platform and play 3 terribly difficult pieces in front of an audience, all experts at the... What's it called?
Wigmore Hall.
You ought to be used to that by now.
Oh, I know, but we only play to ourselves at the Academy or to the staff, normally.
I think it's very exciting that you've been selected, darling, out of your term to give a recital. They must think you're promising.
Well, Mr. Hunt said that the whole of my musical career could depend upon this recital.
Well, think of Daddy having to get up on platforms and make speeches all over Herefordshire and being shouted down and heckled and interrupted.
Well, that's different. Daddy's a man.
Besides, in a political speech, you can use a different word or phrase from the one you meant and it doesn't make any difference. Whereas, in a piano recital, you only have to play one wrong note and everyone notices.
Thank you, Laura. That's very comforting.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make it worse.
You're quite right, Laura, of course. But I know what Vicky means. I've had to do it. All I can say to you, my darling, is the old usual that I always say. You were born with a talent for music, and you've passed into an academy, and it's no mean achievement. You've got on studying and practicing under difficult and sad times for us all. Now all you must do is your best. If you make a mistake, they're not going to cut off your head. If you should fail in your career, no one will hold it against you. Daddy will understand, and so will we all. So you get up on that platform on Tuesday, think of Daddy up on his, play your pieces and enjoy it.
Yes, I'll try. Thank you, Aunt Phil.
If I were you, I'd go and have your tea, or Nanny will have eaten all those shrimp paste sandwiches.
Come on, Vicky.
Are you really not going to have any tea?
No.
I do wish you would. You see so little of them.
I fetched them from the station.
Vicky is your sister. I do think you might, oh, well, at least have tea with her and her friend and tell them about your presents and your plans and what you're going to wear.
Why should Vicky and Laura be interested in that?
It might take Vicky's mind off her concert. Besides, you're going to be away in Westcombe all next week. You won't be able to see much of her after you're married.
I think it's better in the mood I'm in to keep away from them. They irritate me.
Liz.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Here comes the bride, all fat and wide, sliding down the...
quiet, Vicky. Don't be vulgar.
Doesn't it suit her, Nanny? Do I look like a pure maiden about to be led to the slaughter? I mean, altar.
Do you, Laura, take...
Take who? Whom?
Take Peter Cartland to be your lawful wedded wife.
Husband.
That's enough, girls. I won't have you blaspheming in the schoolroom.
Oh, that's not blaspheming, Nanny. Well, they make jokes about weddings on the films.
Oh, they shouldn't. Oh, careful now, Laura. That tiara will come off. And it's taken me 2 whole days to stitch it on.
Oh, sorry,
oh,
Nanny.
Dear.
Here, you see my bicycle pump?
On your bicycle, isn't it?
It is not.
That somebody's pinched it.
That's right.
No good looking at me.
I'm not.
No, and it's no use accusing young Jim, neither. Because he didn't come up here on his bike and he's been with you all afternoon.
Well, who said anything about young Jim Tapper?
Well, you usually do if anything's missing, as a rule. There.
Oh. Well, thanks.
My pleasure. You going to lock up?
I am, as I always do.
Right.
No, this is the Mendelssohn.
The other one's my father, Lohengrin. Oh, yes, of course.
I know a lovely hymn for a wedding. Love divine, all loves excelling. Lots of people have it. Liz, how about this? Come and sing it. It's your wedding.
I'm not much of an expert on hymns. Where are you going? Upstairs to write some letters.
Now, Victoria, dear, how about a little practice for your recital?
Oh, yes, do. We'll be the audience.
Well, I think it would be helpful for you to have a practice in a relaxed atmosphere, and I can give you a little criticism afterwards if you think it's good.
Oh, yes, all right, then.
Come on, Laura. You and I'll go and sit over here. What are you going to give us?
Oh, I'll play the Chopin Nocturne. I'm still not quite sure of that one yet.
Good.
Damn, I always get that bit wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what's the matter with me. I can't do it, it's hopeless. I'll never get through it, I know I won't. I'll make myself a complete fool in front of everyone.
Nonsense. You must just go on practicing.
Most of it sounded lovely. Oh, not much of it. Oh, Phil, I'm so depressed about my music. I'll never play anywhere near well enough. It's hopeless.
Hello? Yes? Arthur! Oh, how's it going? Good. Yes, she's going to drive herself over on Monday. Oh, just having a quiet little musical soiree. No, just me, Vicky and Laura. Liz has gone upstairs to write some letters. Vicky?
She's all right. A bit nervous and despondent, I'm afraid. It's this recital she's giving at the Wigmore Hall on Tuesday. She's terrified. Yes, of course, I'll put her on.
Come and speak to your father, darling.
Hello, Daddy. Yes, I am, I know. Really? Oh, well, as long as... Oh, Daddy, you're very nice and kind. And yes, of course it makes me feel better. Yes, I will. I promise. For you. Yes, all right. Daddy, yes. I'll hand you back to Aunt Phil.
Hello, Arthur. Tell her she's to take her Mac, as it might rain. Yes. And your spare electoral register, which is in the top left-hand drawer of the desk. Yes, I will. Fine. Good luck, Arthur.
I told Daddy I would keep on practicing and not worry too much, so...
Keep on practicing. Laura, dear.
Yes?
I want to stay and listen to Vicky, so I wondered if you could do something for me. Pop upstairs and see Liz. She's in her room. And tell her that her father rang through and said to bring her Mac to Westcombe because the forecast is rain, and also to take him his spare electoral register, which is in the top left-hand drawer of the desk. You remember?
Yes, of course.
Now, I must give the message now, or I shall forget. My mind's like a sieve. Now, that's lovely, darling. But not too fast. Good girl.
Liz? Sorry to barge in, only your answer. Liz, there's a message for you.
What is it?
Just to say that your father rang up just now from the hotel in Westcombe and wanted to take a Mac over on Monday in case of rain. And to bring over a spare copy of the electoral register from the top left-hand drawer of his desk. That was all. So sorry.
Miss, you're up early.
I know, I'm going over to Westcombe.
Today? Oh, I thought Nanny said you were going to join the commander there tomorrow. Miss.
Yes, I was, but I've changed my plans.
Oh, I see. Well, I've got bacon and scrambled eggs here, if you like. I was just going to put it on the hot plate.
It's all right, thanks. I've got all I want. I don't feel like any breakfast today.
Oh, you know, Miss Gates would have got your car out if he'd have known you were going this morning.
Thank you, Mrs. Gates. I've left a note on the dining room table to explain to the others. I must fly now.
Oh, very well, Miss.
Morning, Nanny.
Oh, good morning, dear. Where's your stablemate this morning?
Hogging it in bed.
Oh.
At least she was until I went in and threatened to pull the bedclothes off and reminded her that church was at 10.
Quite right. Lazy thing.
She's getting dressed now. Are you coming to church this morning?
I am.
Oh,
yes.
good. Miss Bourne is having a lie-in. So Vicky thought, oh, Nanny, what should I call her? She's not my aunt, is she?
No, but I'm sure she'd be only too pleased for you to call her Aunt Phyllis as the others do. Why not ask her?
I don't really like to. It does seem a bit formal to go on calling her Miss Bourne.
I'm surprised she hasn't told you already to call her Aunt Phyllis.
I've always avoided calling her anything, you know. I call her things like I say or excuse me, so it doesn't really happen.
You ask her today.
Well, perhaps I will, at lunchtime. Well, I think I'll go down to breakfast. Otherwise, Liz and Vicky will drink all the coffee.
Well, it seems to me you'll have the dining room to yourself with all the Bourne ladies snoring away in their beds.
See you later, Nanny.
Yes, dear.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Gates.
Good morning, Mr. Peter.
Anybody about?
Well, Miss Laura's having breakfast. She's there now, sir.
Hello, Peter.
Good morning. Just popped in on my way to church. See if anybody wanted a lift in the car instead of walking. Save the feet. Is Liz around?
Was she expecting you?
Expecting me?
Did you actually arrange to come and pick her up?
Oh, no. I was in the airport all yesterday in Birmingham. Got back late last night. Well, we usually go to church together on a Sunday. Have done lately. So I thought I'd drop by and see if she was here.
Oh, I'm afraid she's not.
Not here?
Well, she seems to have gone over to Westcombe for the by-election early this morning. She was going tomorrow.
Yes, I know. Oh, dear, what a bore. I wonder why she went today.
She left that note on the dining room table.
Yes, I see. Keen to get some solid canvassing in, I see. Can't blame her.
She's very anxious about Commander Bourne getting elected on Thursday. I do know that.
Yes. Pity. They're publishing the bans today. Well, if that's the correct jargon. You know, if anybody knows any just impediment. All that stuff. We should be there, both of us, just in case somebody jumps up in the back row and says, we're brother and sister, or married, or something like that, you know.
Yes, I know. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, can't be helped. She's always been a bit on the independent side, our Liz. Knows her own mind.
Would you like some coffee now you're here? Or some bacon and eggs?
Oh, no, I had a hearty breakfast at home.
Oh, well, that's all right then.
Yes, well, I better be going.
Oh, won't you stay? And Vicky will be down in a minute. We're taking Nanny to church today.
Oh, I can give you all a lift in the car. Far too far for Nanny to walk.
Oh, I don't think she minds walking.
No, I shall take you all. Nanny can sit in the front behind the windscreen so her bonnet doesn't fly off.
Oh, well, that'll be lovely if you're sure.
Thanks. How's your grandmother?
Very well, thank you. What a funny question all of a sudden.
Oh, yes, I suppose it was. I wonder why. Train of thought, I suppose.
How do you mean?
Well, I was thinking of last Christmas morning when she was staying here, and so was I.
Oh, yes. We walked back from the church together and you were very nice to me because I've been crying.
Oh, because your grandmother hadn't been very nice to you. Question of flowers for Mrs. Bourne's grave.
And Anne's, yes.
We were both outsiders then, weren't we? Non-Bournes. Just guests.
That's right. I don't feel like a non-Bourne any longer. They've been so kind to me and made me feel like one of them.
That makes two of us. I'm marrying a Bourne. I couldn't possibly be a non-Bourne.
No. It was very exciting, isn't it? The wedding and everything.
Yes. A lot to organise. Has Liz made up her mind about bridesmaids? You and Vicky?
No, I don't think she wants us.
Oh, pity. I would have thought she would make a lovely bridesmaid.
Would we?
In my humble opinion, yes. Still, that's her department.
I think she wants to have a maid of honour. Just one. Her friend in Wales, where she stays.
Ah, the incomparable John T. Hughes Williams.
Yes.
I'd rather it were you and Vicky.
Oh, where have you been?
To get the Sunday papers.
Oh.
Young Jack at the shop's in bed is sick, so we went down to fetch him on the bike. Here, my dear, your Sunday graphic. My Mercury. I'll take these through into the hall when I've had a glance at them. The young lady's back yet?
No, not yet. Miss Phyllis is up, but she doesn't want any breakfast.
Oh, she'll be wanting the papers then. Oh, look at this.
Look at what?
Well, a nice picture of the commander smack on the inside page.
Oh, I say, yes. What's he say?
Now, hang on, I'll read it. War hero to fight seat. Lieutenant Commander Arthur Bourne, 48, who was awarded a DSO and bar for distinguished war service as a destroyer captain in the North Sea, is expected to win for the Conservatives by a comfortable majority at next Thursday's by-election in the Westcombe and Holbury division of Herefordshire. The by-election was caused by the retirement last March through ill health of the sitting member Sir Walter Heatherston. Commander Bourne, son of the late Admiral Sir William Bourne, is a JP and farms a 100-acre estate. His wife, formerly Miss Helen Ashley, only daughter of an Eton housemaster, Mr. C.H.B. Ashley, died tragically, together with one of their daughters, in a hotel fire at Bad Nauheim last July. The couple had been married in 1913. There.
Yeah, that's nice. Doesn't say anything about Miss Liz, though.
Ah, well, it wouldn't, would it? Not in that article. I mean, that's political. And the other is social, if you see what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
Well, see if there's anything in your graphic. Might be.
Well, it might be, right.
Yeah, I'll take the rest of these into the hall.
Well, there you all are. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I woke up with a slight head. How was church?
Very short sermon.
Where's Peter?
Oh, he had to go straight back. They've got people to lunch. Liz and Peter's bands were read out, and we had Rock of Ages and All Things Bright and Beautiful.
Well, I hope somebody prayed for my salvation, having missed 2 Sundays running.
The girls have always included their Aunt Phyllis in their prayers, ever since they were wee lasses in the nursery.
Of course we have. You come next after Grandpa Ashley and one before Nan. In mine, anyway. I'm not sure what order Liz puts everyone in, though.
Well, as long as I come before Miss Gribble, I'm not fussy.
Of course you do, Nan.
Vicky and I had quite a lot of special prayers today. There was one for her to play well in her recital on Tuesday night at Wigmore Hall, one for Commander Vaughan to win his by-election, and one for Liz and Peter.
To be happy and have lots of babies.
I don't think you need worry about your father, darling. The Express thinks he'll win quite easily.
Oh, where? Is there a picture of him?
Do let me see.
Don't snatch and try not to tear it. There you are. Now, what's that you've got?
Oh, News of the World. Peter bought it for us.
Well, he shouldn't.
Gosh, look. Lovely picture of him. Makes him look like a film star.
Which one?
Louis Stone.
Oh.
They could have given Anne's name.
I know, darling.
Well, I think I'll go upstairs and start packing my case, as we're going to London tonight.
Oh, when we've packed, I'll take you on at tennis if you like. I think we've got time for a set before lunch.
Right.
Let's go and change.
What train are we catching this evening?
For the 6:18, I think. Then you won't be back too late and worry Dame Violet.
Okay.
I'll drive you into Holbury. It's the gate's evening off.
Right.
Rector denies guide's camp prowl. That's for me.
Come on, Eileen, get a move on.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Fred, we've got plenty of time. Bus doesn't leave till 20 past the hour. I'm not leaving my kitchen untidy. I never have, and I never will.
Yeah, well, if we miss that 20 past bus, we won't have time to have a bite to eat before we go to the pictures.
Oh, that's all right. Then we can have something when we come home. Do stop fussing.
I'm not fussing.
You are. You always do when it's our evening out. You're Western Lady born catching a train. Only Flicks fever, that's what you get.
Yeah, well, if I'm going to cough up 1 and 4 for the Tivoli at Albury, I want to get my money's worth. I'm not going in the middle of the big picture.
All right, Fred, I'm ready. Now, don't fret all the way in the bus. Sit there. Now, we've got plenty of time for a nice meal in the cafe, Gourmet British News and Mickey Mouse.
It's Goofy this week.
All right, then, Goofy. As long as I'm in time to see Tyrone Power, I shall be quite contented.
Come on.
Just to let you know I'm back, Nanny.
Oh, did they catch the train all right?
Oh, yes, loads of time. What is it now?
Oh, I'm just sewing the buttons back on your mother's gloves for Liz.
Talk about something borrowed. Seems to me the only new thing will be the wedding dress. That's Mother's tiara, Helen's veil, and Mother's gloves. Oh, well.
It seems a pity the wee girl's travelling all the way up to London, only to come back again on a Wednesday night.
I know it does. But Vicky has this recital, and it's very, very important.
Oh, I know she has.
Laura has to be up in London tomorrow anyway, for the dentist, so it seemed sensible that Vicky should spend the night with Laura at Dame Violet's so they can travel up together on Wednesday, in time for polling day on Thursday.
Seems we're in for a busy week.
Yes, there's quite a lot going on when you come to think of it. There's Arthur on the threshold of becoming a member of Parliament, which would have pleased Father no end. Liz on the threshold of marriage. And Vicky on the brink of becoming a first-rate concert pianist.
What are you on the brink of, may I ask?
Me? Oh, what am I? I suppose I'm the Josephine to the Napoleon of civil aviation. The mystery woman behind the brilliant young managing director of Pool Aviation Limited. The power behind the throne. Oh, and the sister to the future Prime Minister of England.
Oh, well, I won't live to see that.
Why not? It won't take Arthur long.
It's not that, dearie. It's just that the commander's far too honest and straightforward to be a Prime Minister. He'll be a very good Member of Parliament.
You may be right. One thing is quite certain. The next few weeks are going to be pretty important for the Bourne family, one way and another.
They will that.
Tapioca, rice, coffee, bacon. Right. Anything you want, Nanny? Fred's going into Albury this morning.
Well, no, we're short of soap for upstairs. And scouring powder for the bathrooms.
What sort of soap do you want?
Oh, well, better get some tablets of coal tar as well as the perfume stuff. I could do with a couple of packets of soap flakes.
Hey, don't Wednesdays come round quickly, Nanny? Just seems no time at all since last shopping day.
One day closer to the wedding.
Oh, don't.
How's our shopping list coming along?
Yeah, they are. Oh, and on your way out, Fred, don't forget to get me chops. If you do, the young ladies will have nothing to eat for their supper tonight.
Oh, they're on the 6:18 then, eh?
So I understand.
Has the post been yet?
It has. 6 parcels today for Miss Liz. 7 she had yesterday.
You wedding presents, eh?
Well, I reckon so. Lucky young woman.
This one looks like a picture. Glass, do not crush. This one's from a cousin of Rosie's, and these are all from various aunts and uncles. Oh, electric toasting machine from the clerks in my office in the city.
Not a bad haul. I'll get Mrs. Gates to put them in the box room with the others.
Are you really going to put them all out on display on the day?
That's the idea. All out on the big table in the dining room.
With cards to say who they're from.
That is the custom, I believe, nowadays.
Very embarrassing.
It can be.
I mean, imagine some poor blight who's a bit broke at the moment and buying him as a cheap blotter from Woolworths for all the world to see.
Just too bad.
Blush-making in the extreme.
I went to a wedding once, and I'd brought the bride, who I detested at school, a really very shabby second-hand inkstand. You can imagine my feelings when I arrived at the reception to find the presents on display.
Ghastly.
I crept in to look at my meagre offering, and guess what? They'd got the cards mixed up. And next to my terrible inkstand, it said, "With love and best wishes from Aunt Beatrice." And my card was stuck by a very expensive diamond pendant from Cartier's.
No.
Oh, that'll be the girls back from London.
Oh, I must be going.
No, stay and greet them.
She played marvellously.
I know she did.
What? We were going to ring you last night, but it was a bit late. Dame Violet had gone to bed. And then this morning we couldn't because she wasn't awake and we had to catch the train.
How did you hear, Miss Bourne?
Oh, Phyllis, please, Laura, darling.
Oh, yes, thank you. How did you hear?
Yes, how?
Well, I rang Mrs. Curtis this morning, and she told me that you'd played all your pieces quite beautifully, and that you got an encore after the Chopin played the last section through again, and that the principal congratulated you personally afterwards.
Well, now they've got nothing left to tell.
Oh, never mind. Oh, gosh, it's such a relief it's over. Now I can enjoy the canvassing tomorrow without worrying too much. Except about Daddy, of course.
Oh, he'll be okay. You come and sit down.
Do you know, after last night, I've been wondering all over again about being a professional pianist. You know, travelling all over the country, giving concerts. Well, I think it would be a wonderful life. Don't you, Laura?
Oh, yes, for someone with your talent.
What do you want to be, Laura?
Yes, do tell us. We never seem to discuss your future, and it's every bit as important as Vicky's or Liz.
Well, for some time. I did tell you, Vicky. Do you remember last summer when I first came to stay?
Oh, yes, about going on the stage, you mean?
That's right. Well, when I was 12, I went to see Gladys Cooper in a very grown-up play called The Sacred Flame by Somerset Maugham. And Gladys Cooper was wonderful. Oh, but my grandmother thought it was a religious play and was terribly shocked when it wasn't. But I saw enough of Gladys Cooper to want to be an actress, but I wasn't allowed.
And that was that?
Yes. Now I just want to be somebody's wife and have lots of children.
Ah, good for you, Laura.
So, what are the canvassing plans for tomorrow?
Well, Peter's going to drive round Layford Village and the other 2 villages along the road, knocking on all the cottage doors, and Laura goes with him as his helper.
So you and I do Winchley?
Yes, and Westdean and Little Malling, where they nurse.
Then we're all going to converge on Westcombe after the poll is closed and wait for the count.
And meet outside the Barley Mow by the town hall.
That sounds like a long, hard day.
Yes, it will be. Well, I must get going now, and you two must go up and unpack. I'll see you at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning. Sou'westers and raincoats on. The glass is falling. I think it might come on to rain. Bye-bye, anyway.
Bye, Peter. Bye, Peter. Are you sure it's all right to call you Phyllis?
Well, of course, Laura. You're a big girl now, aren't you?
Oh, I'm sorry, Nanny. Did I wake you?
No, dear, I wasn't asleep. I just had my eyes closed.
It's a filthy old night out there. Just talking about rain.
I know. What's the time?
It's just gone 11.
Oh.
Hey, Miss Phyllis and the girls will be soaked out canvassing in this rain.
I know they will.
Shall I close the curtains for you, love?
Oh, yes, please. I forgot.
Well, I wonder how long they'll be.
Oh, goodness knows.
Well, when Fred went over with the big car, he reckoned that the announcement of the results should be made about midnight.
Oh, well, we won't have long to wait, will we?
Oh, no, but Fred's not coming back tonight. Did I not tell you, Nanny? No, he's staying over at Westcombe for the night. It's putting up at the Barley Mow. And then he's going to bring the commander tomorrow and Miss Liz home.
I see.
He only hope he doesn't get into any mischief over there. I haven't forgotten what happened last time Fred was over at the Barley Mow. Do you remember with Mr. Hedges that time?
Oh, yes, you told me. When Mrs. Hedges was away.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'd better be getting across to the lodge.
You sure you'll be all right, dear?
Oh, yes, love, rather. Doesn't worry me sleeping alone at the lodge.
No.
Besides, without Fred and his late-night dance music on the wireless, I might get a bit of shut-eye. Oh. You never know. Night-night, Nanny, love.
Good night, my dear.
Night-night.
Oh.
Come on, Laura, we must go up and tell Nanny.
Right, you are. Too much noise. She may be asleep. Well, come on in, both of you, and have some whiskey before we all get pneumonia.
That's a good idea.
Oh, they had 3 whiskies in the committee room and a glass of champagne at the town hall, but one more will be very welcome.
Besides, you must drink a toast to our new member of Parliament, even if it is in his absence.
But in his own house. And his own whiskey.
Absolutely. And celebrate exactly the way Arthur would want us to. Not just his victory, but his increased majority.
I agree.
Arthur, our new member.
Bless him. I remember how terrible he was at school. Never knew any history and didn't know the difference between a Whig and a Tory.
I bet he does now.
Arthur.
And then the returning officer...
He was the mayor of Westcombe with his chains round his neck and everything.
He came onto the balcony, which was all floodlit, and then Daddy appeared with his 2 opponents, the Labour candidate...
He was called Mr. Jack
Parish.
Oh, yes.
And the National Liberal candidate...
He was a doctor, rather nice-looking and quite young, Dr. Stevens.
And they all stood there while the mayor read out all the stuff about the parliamentary by-election for the Westcombe and Horbury division, and then he read out the number of votes.
He said, Mr. Jack Parish, Labour, 2,362 votes. Dr. William Stevens, National Liberal, 3,401 votes.
Commander Arthur Bourne, 8,956 votes. But you couldn't hear the last number because a huge cheer went up from the crowd and deafened everyone.
Yes.
And Daddy looked so pleased and he smiled and waved at the crowd.
The whole market square in front of the town hall was packed with people in spite of the rain.
All with their umbrellas up, but they cheered and cheered. And Daddy looked so pleased and happy.
But so tired.
Oh, I'm sure he would be.
All the same, he made a speech to thank his agent and the returning officer and all the people who counted the votes and the people who helped in the committee rooms. Oh, Nan, it's so wonderful. Daddy's a member of Parliament. Well, I'm sure he'll be Prime Minister one day.
I'll need to wait and see about that, dear. Oh, how about getting dried off and go to bed? You must be dead tired.
It's funny, you know. But when I realised that Arthur was serious about contesting the seat, I began to think about all the implications, how our lives here would change if he got himself elected. Well, now that he has, and I never doubted that he would, my mind's a complete blank. I can't focus at all.
Well, he's going to need a flat in London for a start.
That's no problem. We've discussed that. Mother's coming to live here permanently when she gets back from her cruise, and Arthur can take over Artillery Mansions. It's so handy for Westminster, and the lease is in his name.
I suppose he'll have to stay in London all week during sittings, won't he?
Of course. We won't see very much of him, except at weekends.
Oh, that's true.
The family will have to cope for itself.
Well, we'll have Peter and Liz over with us at Mill House, but what about Vicky and Laura? What's going to happen to them?
It all depends. Vicky's future is very much in the melting pot. Depends how she does at the academy. It depends on where she's going to live in London. If Jack and I... Oh, I don't know. I expect things will work out somehow.
They always do, don't they? Well, drink up, darling. Take your weary wife home.
By all
I
means,
have
Mum.
wet feet and a longing for a hot bath.
Thank you both so much for all your help. Arthur will be very grateful.
Not at all. It was nothing. Just knocked on a few cottage doors and then raised a chair at the end. It was all rather fun.
Tell him I'll give him a ring in the morning when he's had a nice rest.
I will.
Good night.
Good night, both of you.
Good night, Liz.
We've just come down to say good night because we've been to see Nanny and we're going off to bed now.
What were you doing looking round the hall just now? Were you staring up at the ceiling and thinking, sort of...
Oh, nothing really. I was just thinking how we seem to have reached a new chapter in your father's life. In all our lives come to that.